साथ और भी 5 टीम्स हैं जो आपको टक्कर देने के लिए और ये 2026 की एफएफएमआईसी का खिताब जीतने के लिए बैठे हुए हैं। तो फिर क्या लगता है आपको, किस प्रकार आप लोग खेलेंगे? क्या अभी भी आप वो अपना टाइटल डिफेंड कर पाएंगे? और साथ में देखिए हाल फिलहाल में जो एस्टेक के चेंजेस भी हुए थे, तो हाउ आर यू गाइस प्रोसेसिंग इट एंड किस तरीके से अभी टीम में माहौल है आपका?
तो हम थोड़ा लाइक गेम प्ले वाइज तो कम फोकस करें भी, हम चाहते हैं कि हमारा थोड़ा टीम सिनर्जी ज़्यादा एनहांस हो। थोड़ा हम पहले ऐसा कोऑर्डिनेशन में खेलते रहे, वैसे खेल हमारा कुछ भी चीज़ इफेक्ट ना करे जो भी हुआ इन एंड आउट। ये सब चीज़ें हमारा क्योंकि ये गेम ज़्यादातर आप देखो ना, ये मेंटल गेम है। यहाँ पे स्किल सब पे वही ऑल ईयर सेम रहता है, बट आप कैसे कोऑर्डिनेट करते हो गेम के अंदर वो मेन होता है। अगर आपके चारों प्लेयर पे एक दूसरे को ट्रस्ट है ना, तो आप कुछ भी गेम कहीं से भी निकाल सकते हो। मेन ही होता है, क्योंकि स्किल्स तो सब पे है ही, वही स्किल्स हैं। उसी स्किल से हम पिछली बार जीते थे, बट ट्रस्ट कैसे रहता है टीम पे, वो आपको आगे ले जाता है। और पिछली बार जो था, मतलब इस बार तो काफी सब कुछ चेंज होगा, लॉबी भी चेंज होगी क्योंकि टीमें भी नई नई आएंगी, कंपटीशन भी बढ़ेगा। तो हम भी अपने स्किल्स आपको फाइनल्स में ही दिखाएंगे, हर एक स्टेज में दिखाएंगे, जिससे आप भी तभी सरप्राइज हो।
देखिए ग्रुप्स रिवील हो चुके हैं एफएफएमआईसी 2026 स्प्रिंग के, तो क्यों ना हर एक ग्रुप को देखा जाए और उनमें टीम्स के ऊपर थोड़ी सी और चर्चा की जाए कि कौन से टीम्स यहाँ पे जो है वो है सबसे बड़ी कंटेंडर उनके ग्रुप से। तो सबसे पहले चलते हैं ग्रुप ए की तरफ। ग्रुप ए में होने वाली हैं ये सभी 12 टीमें। तो सबसे पहले ड्यूकर, आपसे जानेंगे क्या लगता है आपको कि इनमें से कौन से टॉप 3 कंटेंडर्स हैं जो यहाँ पे डोमिनेट करने वाले हैं?
ग्रुप ए काफ़ी ज़्यादा अच्छा ग्रुप लग रहा है मुझे देखने से। 2-3 ऐसे कंटेंडर्स हैं जो काफ़ी अच्छा कर सकते हैं। फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल ऑब्वियसली टोटल गेमिंग ई स्पोर्ट्स, एंड आफ्टर दैट आई वुड से ऑटोबॉट्स ई स्पोर्ट्स। लास्ट टाइम का एक्सपीरियंस भी है और इस बार भी चांसेस हैं कि अच्छा करेंगे, हमको ग्रुप स्टेज में करते हुए देखेंगे। एंड द थर्ड इज़ अराइज ई स्पोर्ट्स। इनमें भी काफ़ी सारे प्लेयर्स एक्सपीरियंस हैं जो काफ़ी बड़ी बड़ी टीम्स में खेल चुके हैं ऑलरेडी, एंड वन ऑफ देम इज़ यूनो। सो आई वुड से ये 3 टीम्स मुझे लग रही है कि थोड़ा हमें ज़्यादा डोमिनेट करते हुए देखेंगे ग्रुप स्टेज में।
एंड व्हाट अबाउट गुरुनाथा ऑफिशियल? देखिए सिटी क्वालिफायर से क्वालिफाई करके आए और इकलौती टीम है जो अंडरडॉग भी है, और उन्होंने जिस तरीके से परफॉर्म किया था सबको अचंभित किया था। तो इनके ऊपर आपकी क्या राय?
बिल्कुल, ऐसे तो फिर सारी ही टीम्स कंटेंडर हैं क्योंकि एफएफसी मोड इज़ वे मोर डिफिकल्ट देन जितना हम सोचते हैं। तो सबने ही क्वालिफाई करा। गुरुनाथा भी उनमें से एक है जो सिटी क्वालिफायर से आई, तो उनके लिए और डबल उनको मेहनत करनी पड़ेगी ड्यूरिंग द ग्रुप स्टेजेस। लेट्स सी वो कितना अच्छा करके दिखाते हैं।
रियली होपिंग कि सारी की सारी टीम बहुत बढ़िया करें। लेकिन अब ग्रुप बी की चर्चा करते हैं। देखिए यहाँ पे भी कुछ कमाल के नाम देखने को मिल रहे हैं। एसएटवेल एलीट, iQOO, TSG, टीम लेगेसी। अमंग ऑल द टीम्स आई फील कि कुछ टफ कंटेंडर्स हैं जो बहुत बढ़िया कर सकते हैं। बट माफिया, ओवरऑल आपको क्या लगता है कि इन 12 नामों में से कौन से वो चुनिंदा नाम हो सकते हैं जो अपनी टीम से टॉप करते हुए, अपने ग्रुप से टॉप करते हुए नजर आएंगे?
इनसे मेरे को लगता है ग्रुप बी से एक फायरस गेमिंग, जो भी बहुत करेंटली मतलब अच्छे फॉर्म में चल रही है, एक फायरस गेमिंग हो सकती है, एक यूजीएक्स जीआरपी हो सकती है, एंड एक टीएसजी भी हो सकती है। ये 3 टीमें मेरे को लगता है जो बहुत अच्छा खेलने वाली है इनके ग्रुप से, जो अच्छा कंपटीशन बना के रखेंगी इस लिस्ट में।
बिल्कुल, ये 3 टीम का नाम तो आपने ले लिया, लेकिन यहाँ पे ड्यूकर मैं आपसे जानना चाहता हूँ, एसएटवेल एलीट भी है इस ग्रुप में और हमने माफिया से भी इससे पहले चर्चा की थी। हाल फिलहाल में एसएटवेल एलीट में 3 नए खिलाड़ियों का एडिशन हुआ, पहाड़ी और वेटरन प्लेयर। हाउ डू यू थिंक कि ये परफॉर्म करेंगे?
डेफिनेटली मैं एक चीज़ बोलूँगा कि आई वुड से कि चाहे फिर वो रोनित अपने टीम को खिलवाए या फिर पहाड़ी खेले, क्योंकि मैंने पर्सनली पहाड़ी को कोच करके रखा हुआ है, तो मुझे इतना लगता है कि ये जब प्रेशराइज मैच होते हैं तो ये अच्छे से डील करते हैं उसको। तो आई वुड से कि एसएटवेल इज़ वन ऑफ द कंटेंडर जो इस ग्रुप में शायद टेबल टॉप भी कर जाए।
क्या बात है। देखिए हमने ग्रुप बी की भी चर्चा करी, अब हम बढ़ेंगे ग्रुप सी की तरफ। देखिए ग्रुप सी में भी एक से बढ़कर एक टीमें होने वाली है। गॉड्स रेन, टीम हिंद, ई स्पोर्ट्स एंड ऑल द अदर टीम्स। मैं देख रहा हूँ कि यहाँ पे जो है काफी टफ कंटेंडर होने वाले हैं। तो क्यों ना माफिया आप यहाँ पे बताएं कि आपको क्या लगता है कि कौन सी वो टीमें होंगी जो यहाँ पे डोमिनेट करने वाली है?
ग्रुप सी का मेरे को लगता है पॉइंटल काफी क्लोज होगा, क्योंकि इसमें टीमें मतलब T1 सेमी T1 भी दिख रही हैं। तो इसमें जेडीआर अच्छी एक टीम है, टीम हिंद भी काफी अच्छा खेल सकती है इनके ग्रुप से। आरएनएक्स हो गई, एनएक्सटी, K9, ट्रू इम्पैक्ट, ये सारी T1, मेक्टेनिंजा, ये सारी हमारे साथ T1 डेली खेलती है। तो मतलब ये जो ग्रुप सी वाला है ये बहुत क्लोज होगा इनका पॉइंट टेबल। लाइक बाकी ग्रुप्स की तरह स्कोरिंग मैच नहीं होंगे इतने ज्यादा।
देखिए बिल्कुल मुझे भी सेम लग रहा है, क्योंकि एक से बढ़कर एक नाम यहाँ पे है। जैसा बोला कि हाँ T1 लॉबी में आप साथ में खेलते हैं, तो यस सभी टीमें मुझे भी काफी ज्यादा फायर पावर वाली लग रही हैं। तो ये जो हैगा सभी टीमों के लिए यहाँ से निकल कर आगे जाना। चलिए ग्रुप डी की चर्चा कर लेते हैं इनसे।
देखिए, ग्रुप डी की चर्चा करने से पहले ओवरऑल अगर आप मुझे पूछे कि ग्रुप ऑफ डेथ कौन सा है, मेरे हिसाब से तो ग्रुप सी मुझे ग्रुप ऑफ डेथ नजर आ रहा है। बिकॉज आप देखिए वहां पे हर दूसरा नाम बहुत ही अच्छा खेलते हैं, चाहे आप जीडीआर की बात करें, टीम हिंद की बात करें, यहाँ पे एनजी सिल्वर ईगल है। एनजी सिल्वर ईगल हिस्ट्री रही है, चुनिंदा कुछ बढ़िया खिलाड़ियों को लेके आते हैं। एनएक्सटी ई स्पोर्ट्स, आरएनएक्स ई स्पोर्ट्स कमाल के खिलाड़ी है। ट्रू इम्पैक्ट इज वन ऑफ दोज टीम्स जो पिछले साल ग्रैंड फाइनलिस्ट रहे थे। K9 ई स्पोर्ट्स ऑफ कोर्स यहाँ पे भी कुछ अच्छी फायर पावर है। K9 ई स्पोर्ट्स यहाँ पे भी काफी अच्छी फायर पावर है। मेटा निंजा, देखिए ग्रुप ऑफ डेथ मेरे हिसाब से तो ग्रुप सी है। बट अब ग्रुप डी की तरफ चलते हैं, काफी कमाल के नाम ग्रुप डी में भी नजर आ रहे हैं और यहाँ पे भी थोड़ा सा कॉम्प्लिकेटेड मुझे नजर आ रहा है। तो मैं स्टार्टिंग विद ड्यूकर, 2 नाम मैं ड्यूकर से चाहता हूँ और उसके बाद मैं 2 नाम चाहता हूँ माफिया से, कि आपको क्या लगता है कि कौन कौन से वो 2 नाम हो सकते हैं जो टॉप करेंगे। बहुत ज्यादा मुश्किल है यहाँ पे भी प्रिडिक्ट कर पाना।
बिल्कुल, यहाँ पे काफ़ी सारी टीम्स है, जैसे हेड हंटर्स हो गई, ओलंपियंस हो गई, गॉड लाइक हो गई, ऑब्वियसली ब्लैक बर्ड्स हो गई, तो जॉन्टी गेमिंग हो गई। तो काफ़ी सारी जो पिछले FFMIC में खेल के रखी हुई है टीम्स वो हैं। तो चूज़ करना तो बहुत डिफिकल्ट है, बट आई विल गो विद गॉड लाइक एंड मे बी ओलंपियंस। दे कैन फिनिश इन टॉप 2।
माफिया
यहाँ पे अब
जॉन्टी गेमिंग अभी करेंटली काफी अच्छे फॉर्म में है, जो कि मतलब रिसेंट में यूआई नाम से खेलती थी। ये अच्छा खेलेगी जॉन्टी गेमिंग। एंड ओलिगार्ड्स अभी अपने ओपन क्वालिफायर में एक टेबल टॉप करके आई है, मतलब कुछ तो है इसमें, फिर फायर पावर अच्छा होगा। सो वो हमें टॉप 9 में फायर पावर के बेसिस पे ही गेम चलता है। सो आई वुड लाइक टू सी ओलिगार्ड्स।
क्या बात है, देखिए बहुत सारे नाम इसमें भी नजर आ रहे हैं। ब्लैक बर्ड्स की बात करें, वंस अगेन हमको यहाँ पे राधे ठाकुर नजर आएंगे। गॉड लाइक ई स्पोर्ट्स हमने देखा था इनको FFMAI 2025 में परफॉर्म करते हुए, बट लेट्स सी इस बार ये कैसा परफॉर्म करते हैं। ज्ञान गेमिंग अगेन एक टॉप कंटेंडर जरूर है, लेकिन देखिए ऑफिशियल्स में इनको परफॉर्म करना होगा, वो प्रेशर अलग होता है। माफिया आप इस बात से परिचित होंगे कि देखिए जब आप थर्ड पार्टी टूर्नामेंट्स खेलते हो तो उसका जो प्रेशर रहता है और जो ऑफिशियल इवेंट का प्रेशर रहता है उसमें कितना डिफरेंस होता है।
और ज्यादा मतलब पोल ऑपोजिट डिफरेंस होता है, मतलब कि थर्ड पार्टी तो हमारे होते रहते हैं, ऑल ईयर लॉन्ग चलते रहते हैं, बट ऑफिशियल्स हमारे 3-4 महीने में एक बार आते हैं, और वो मतलब सबसे हाईएस्ट स्टेज होता है एक टूर्नामेंट मतलब गेम का। तो ऑफिशियल में तो प्रेशर नेक्स्ट लेवल का ही होता है। बाकी हम जो थर्ड पार्टी खेलते हैं वो ऑफिशियल की प्रैक्टिस ही होती है एक तरीके की। तो मेन गेम तो हमारा ऑफिशियल ही होता है, तो इसलिए वहाँ पे प्रेशर थोड़ा ज्यादा होता है एज कम्पेयर टू थर्ड पार्टीज।
जी, देखिए माफिया ने तो कमाल का जवाब दिया, बट ड्यूकर आज का ये पूरा सेशन समाप्त करने से पहले मैं आपसे जानना चाहता हूँ कि देखिए अक्सर ये जो थर्ड पार्टीज और ऑफिशियल के प्रेशर की हम बात करें, काफ़ी सारी टीम्स के रिगार्डिंग ये बातचीत होती है कि यार सीरियसली नहीं खेल रहे हैं। मेरा मानना थोड़ा सा अलग है। मेरा मानना है कि प्रैक्टिस के मैचेस में अलग अलग स्ट्रैटेजीज को अप्लाई किया जाता है, नए नए चीज़ों को ट्राई किया जाता है, और उससे कभी कभार ड्रॉबैक्स भी होते हैं, फायदे भी होते हैं। तो आपका क्या मानना है मेन ऑफिशियल मैचेस और साथ में जितने भी हमारे डोमेस्टिक सर्किट के टूर्नामेंट्स होते हैं, इन दोनों के परफॉर्मेंस में टीम्स के?
बिल्कुल, बहुत जैसा माफिया ने बोला कि डिफरेंस होता है और ये प्रैक्टिस की तरह खेले जाते हैं। बट क्या होता है कि ये प्रैक्टिस मैचेस में हम कई तरीके की जो हमारे जैसे रोटेशंस हो गए, फॉर्मेशंस हो गए, और जैसे स्ट्रेटजी हमने अब क्या बनाई, कहाँ हमें फाइट लेनी है, ये सब चीज़ हम इसमें प्रैक्टिस करते हैं इन थर्ड पार्टी टूर्नामेंट्स। और जो सक्सेसफुल हो जाती है 1-2 बार ट्राई करने के बाद, उसको हम हाइड करके रखते हैं फॉर द ऑफिशियल, कि उनको ऑफिशियल्स में हम एग्जीक्यूट करेंगे। सो ये T1 टीम्स तो माइंडसेट ये वाला रखती हैं, बट ये माइंडसेट में अंडरडॉग्स में भी देखना चाहता हूँ कि उनने कितने अच्छे से प्रिपेयर करा है, वो नोट डाउन करी हैं चीज़ें जो T1 टीम्स अपनी लॉबी में प्रैक्टिस मैचेस में करती है जब थर्ड पार्टी टूर्नामेंट्स खेलती हैं वो।
क्या बात है। देखिए एक क्वेश्चन मैं आप दोनों से पूछना चाहूँगा इस बिहाइंड द ग्लू वॉल को एंड करने से पहले, कि एक टिप अगर आपको देनी हो, यहाँ पे कुछ एडवाइस देनी हो अंडरडॉग्स के लिए, तो आप एक छोटी सी एडवाइस उनको क्या देना चाहेंगे कि उनको क्या करना चाहिए और क्या नहीं करना चाहिए? पहले माफिया।
टिप यही रहेगी कि सामने वाली टीम, अगर आप किससे भी डरो मत, कोई भी T1 टीम आपको दिखते है, वो भी 4 ही प्लेयर है, उनकी भी 200 HP है, सब कुछ सेम है, जो आपके पास है सेम उनके पास है। अपनी एक टीम पे ट्रस्ट करो, जिससे तुम क्वालिफाई किए हो, वो टीम भी तुम्हारी बेस्ट ही टीम बनेगी। सब अंडर गॉड्स ही होते हैं पहले, फिर जाके वो T1 बनते हैं। तो किससे डरो मत, अंधा मारो, बिल्कुल घुस के खेलो।
ड्यूकर आप?
बिल्कुल प्रेशर नहीं लेना है, सबसे मेन यही जो मोटिव है हर टीम्स का होना चाहिए जो भी अंडरडॉग आई हैं, क्योंकि हमने देखा है काफ़ी सारी टीम्स प्रेशर ले लेती हैं, उसकी वजह से मैच खराब होते जाते हैं बहुत सारे। लास्ट ईयर भी हमने T1 टीम्स के भी नेम देखे थे जो T1 टीम्स में कंटिन्यूसली खेलती आती हैं। सो यही मेरा एक मैसेज है उनके लिए कि हर मैच को एक नए मैच की तरह खेलो। अगर लास्ट मैच आपका ख़राब भी हुआ है तो प्रेशर मत लो, और उस नए मैच को ऐसा निकालने की कोशिश करो कि पूरी फ्री फायर कम्युनिटी याद रखे कि हाँ, ये मैच कोई खेल कर गया था।
कमाल के जवाब हमें आज के दिन पे बिहाइंड द ग्लू वॉल के एपिसोड 1 में मिले हैं। आई होप इन सभी जवाबों से आप लोग बहुत कुछ सीखेंगे और एंटरटेन भी होंगे। बट अभी के लिए खत्म करते हैं अपना एपिसोड। थैंक यू सो मच ड्यूकर, थैंक यू सो मच माफिया। दिस वाज मी इनसेन एंड आई हैव अलोंगसाइड विद मी आरो आईबी। वापस आएंगे विद अनदर एपिसोड। तब तक के लिए बाय बाय, टेक केयर, हैव फन, सी यू ऑन द अदर साइड।
Ready to turn up the volume? The Beat Carnival is here and things are about to get loud! Join Alok's global livestream as part of the audience. Complete daily missions and matches to earn Lightstick and Panther tokens. Then use them to cheer for the performance. As your contribution to the show's popularity rises, you'll unlock flashy stage transformations, special songs from Alok, and tons of great rewards. And don't forget to snap a photo with Alok using the new event-exclusive poses. It's the perfect souvenir from this musical carnival. In Battle Royale, after some time in the match, Alok will invite everyone to join the carnival. Solara's sky turns into a glowing sunset, while sound waves pulse outside the safe zone. A giant Alok projection dances along the map edges, and fireworks light up the night. Bloomtown's stage also transforms into a full-on festival with lasers and music. Watch out for the beat drop zones, where the beats can make everyone start dancing. And if you spot the Panther party truck, make sure to check it out for some extra loot. In Clash Squad, sound wave zones appear that boost your movement speed and HP recovery. And the giant Alok projection will be vibing alongside you. You will also find new event items and matches, so keep an eye out. Pick up the upgraded Alok skill card for extra power. Toss the dance grenade to make everyone around start grooving. And launch yourself across the map with the speaker trampoline. Get ready to move, groove, and light up the beat.
Focus, aim, ready. Focus, aim, ready. Speed up in the race, fall back, no chase. Turn up with the bass, gotta level up your game. Looking for the fight, target inside. A knife or an eye, gotta level to the sky. I'm bulletproof, I do what I want and I'm breaking through. I'm bulletproof, got nothing to lose and I'm coming for you. I'm bulletproof, I do what I want and I'm breaking through. I'm bulletproof, I pull the trigger. Higher level, higher level. I pull the trigger. Speed up in a race, fall back, no chase. Turn up with the bass, gotta level up your game. Looking for the fight, target inside. A knife or an eye, gotta level to the sky. I dream bigger, that 10 figure. My aim is quicker, I pull the trigger. I dream bigger, that 10 figure. My aim is quicker, I pull the trigger. I'm bulletproof, I do what I want and
चढ़ाना चाहूं हार मैं, अकेले थोड़ा कम पड़ जाता हूँ यार मैं। मिले जो यार सही तो मुझको पर मिल जाएंगे, और उड़ने को हो जाऊंगा तैयार मैं।
नामुमकिन को भी मुमकिन अब हम कर जाएंगे,
कोई भी मुश्किल हो पीछे ना जाएंगे।
एक जो गिरे तो दूसरे को हम संभालेंगे।
देगा मिसाल जहां ऐसे लड़ जाएंगे। कायदे कानून है, दिल बेसुकून है, सर पे चढ़ा जीत का जुनून, जीत का जुनून है। कायदे कानून है, दिल बेसुकून है, सर पे चढ़ा जीत का जुनून, जीत का जुनून है। खोला ये खून है, दिल बेसुकून है, सर पे चढ़ा जीत का जुनून, जीत का जुनून है।
जो सोचा भी ना हो किसी ने, हम वैसा करके दिखाएंगे। चाहे हो कीमत जो ख्वाबों की पूरे करने को झुकाएंगे।
हद से ज्यादा जिद है अपनी, जिद है आसमान की। हिम्मत करके हम कदमों में आसमान झुकाएंगे,
झुकाएंगे।
दिल बेसुकून है, सर पे चढ़ा जीत का जुनून, जीत का जुनून है।
जीत का जुनून है, जीत का जुनून है।
सर पे चढ़ा जीत का जुनून, जीत का जुनून है। जीत का जुनून है, जीत का जुनून है। सर पे चढ़ा जीत का जुनून, जीत का जुनून है। दिल महबूया।
चल दे देखा किस मिट्टी से तेरे सपने बने, कर दे धुआं जिस रास्ते पे भी तेरे पाँव पड़े। बस बात बात नहीं घात घात कर, बस में तो सारे हालात लात कर। हुनर से अपने दिन को रात कर, अपना ही कुछ नया इजाद कर। तेरा मुकाबला खुद से, मौसम बदले तेरे रुख से, कि खुदा भी किस्मत लिखने से पहले तेरी रजा पूछे तुझसे। तू शेर की दहाड़ दे, चिथड़े तू डर के भाड़ दे। इस दुनिया के हर कोने तक तू ख्वाब अपने पसार दे। खोल दे जो बंधा बैठा तेरी रग रग में तूफान है, 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 तूफान है। तू जीत का ऐलान है, तूफान है, तूफान है, तूफान है। तूफान है, तूफान है, तूफान है, तूफान है, तूफान है। तू जीत का ऐलान है, छवि में डरा नहीं, फालतू की बातों में पड़ा नहीं, नजर निशाने पे दुश्मन ठिकाने में कभी भी रुका मैं जरा नहीं, मन में जो ठाना वो पाना है, चलना ना कोई बहाना है, कितना है दम बाजुओं में ये दुनिया को बिना झिझक के बताना है, सारा जमाना है कदमों के नीचे के चील सी मेरी उड़ान है। Wait, hold up. तूफान है, तूफान है, तूफान है, तूफान है, तूफान है, तू जीत का ऐलान है, तूफान 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 है, तू जीत का ऐलान है, तूफान 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 है, तू जीत का ऐलान है, तूफान है, तूफान है, तूफान है।
टोटल गेमिंग के पास मौका आ चुका है, ग्रेनेड लॉन्चर साहिल के पास, क्या यहाँ पे बात बनने वाली है? टोटल गेमिंग एस्पोर्ट्स।
सच बोलूं तो मुझे ये सपना लग रहा है, लोगों के लिए ट्रॉफी होगी, मेरे लिए ये सालों की मेहनत, सालों की डेडिकेशन और ये तपस्या है जिसको आज हम लोगों ने थोड़ा हासिल कर लिया है। ट्रॉफी सब अच्छे से आ रहा है ना? हाँ फौजी भाई, चलो आप बैठो तो। बेसिकली मैं हरियाणा से बिलोंग करता हूँ। हरियाणा में मेन 3 चीज़ को प्रेफरेंस देते हैं। पहली चीज़ अपने देश के लिए मेडल लेके आना, कोई भी स्पोर्ट्स एक्टिविटी करना। सेकंड चीज़ मैं बात करूँ गवर्नमेंट जॉब। थर्ड बात करूँ अगर आप कोई वेल सेटल्ड बिजनेस कर रहे हो तो आप अलाउड हो, बाकी आपको कोई भी फैमिली जो है वो अलाउड नहीं करेगी। तो फौजी का रीज़न ये रहने वाला है कि मुझे खुद को एक आर्मी में जाना था। तो मेरी फैमिली जो थी वो भी यही चाहती थी कि मैं आर्मी के अंदर जाऊँ, तो मैं उसी की तैयारी भी कर रहा था। तो मैंने एनसीसी वगैरह भी ज्वाइन करी। तो वहाँ पे पीएम रैली का पार्ट रह चुका हूँ। उसके अंदर वो पैरासेलिंग बोलते हैं, तो पैराशूट होता है, आपके रोप रहती है, तो आप पैराशूट से उड़ते हैं। उस टाइम पे मैं एनसीसी में पैराशूट से जो था वो चीज़ें होती थी। आज भी पैराशूट यूज होता है गेम के अंदर कि हम फ्लाइट से उड़ते हुए पैराशूट से कूदते हैं। वहाँ पे अजय शर्मा था, यहाँ पे फौजी अजय है। अभी जैसे आप सब लोग हमें जानते हैं टोटल गेमिंग के नाम से, बट इससे पहले जो हमारा नाम रहने वाला था वो द माफिया से रहने वाला था। उस टाइम छोटे बच्चे थे सब लोग, 16, 17, 18 साल की एज रहने वाली है सबकी। अब मुझे टीम बिल्ड करनी थी। मुझे याद अच्छे से, मैं गुड़गांव के अंदर था हमारे बूट कैंप के अंदर, और एक टूर्नामेंट आया था वहाँ पर जो स्टेट के प्लेयर साथ में खेल सकते हैं। तो मुझे आइडिया था कि जो माफिया वो दिल्ली का है, स्नाइपिंग भी अच्छी खासी करता था, सिर्फ स्नाइपिंग करता था उस टाइम पे। तो माफिया उस टाइम पे लिटिल बच्चा, मतलब 13-14 साल का बच्चा मिला था मेरे को। बच्चा क्या ही पूछेगा आपको कंफर्मेशन करने के लिए रियल है कि नहीं है, तो वो बोलता है आप अपनी यूआईडी भेजो। मतलब इतना सिली क्वेश्चन था, यूआईडी मतलब कोई भी किसी का भेज सकता है, मतलब देख के आप भी मेरा भेज सकते हो। तो मुझे वो चीज़ पढ़ के बहुत हंसी आई कि यार तो सच्ची में बच्चा है यार ये
तो उन्होंने मेरे को फिर डायरेक्ट अप्रोच किया। मेरी तरफ से तो ओके था, कोई दिक्कत नहीं टीम जाने में, बट परमिशन लेनी पड़ती है पेरेंट्स से भी, क्योंकि तब थोड़ा यंग समय ज़्यादा आई। तो फौजी भाई घर पे आए, तो फौजी ने बात की मम्मी पापा से कि ये अच्छा खेलता है, ये आगे भी अच्छा खेल सकता है, ग्लोबली भी इसमें पोटेंशियल है करके। आया तब बिग ब्रदर ने समझाया कि मैं उसको छोटे भाई की तरह ही ध्यान रखूँगा। तो फिर मम्मा थोड़ा सा तब रिलैक्स हुई कि ठीक है थोड़ा जा सकते हैं करके। मेरा बस एक ये बेसिक कंडीशन है, मेरे साथ मेरे एक दोस्त थे जो मेरी पुरानी टीम में थे, गिल्ड भाई, तो हम दोनों साथ में आएंगे।
उस समय मैं कॉलेज में जस्ट एंटर किया था। घर वाले तो पूरा खिलाफ थे, गेम खेलता रहता है, कुछ करता नहीं है, क्या मिल जाएगा गेम में। जब मैंने भैया को बोला ना कि भैया ऐसे ऐसे होता है, स्पोर्ट होता है यार, और भाई इसमें पैसे भी कमा सकता हूँ, तो भैया बोले कि चल ट्राई कर ले, तेरे को मैं सपोर्ट करूँगा।
फौजी भाई, मैं, बाला भाई और गिल्ड भाई, हमारी मेन लाइनअप ये थी। तो उस टाइम हम सब घर से खेलते थे, बट जैसे जैसे मेजर टूर्नामेंट आते गए तो हमारे को बूट कैंप की नीड पड़नी थी। मतलब वो बेसिक हमें सिनर्जी अगर ज़्यादा करनी है इस बड़े टूर्नामेंट के लिए तो ज़्यादा सिनर्जी लगेगी।
तो हमने डिसाइड किया कि हम दिल्ली में बूट कैंप बनाते हैं, और एक फ्लैट पे हमने सब कुछ किया। यहाँ पे हम कुछ टाइम के लिए रहे। हमें जो प्रॉब्लम फेस करनी पड़ी यहाँ पर वो ये थी कि तो हमें रेंट देना पड़ रहा था, और उस टाइम पे हमारे लिए 18-20,000 देना एक बूट कैंप के लिए, इंडिविजुअली के लिए, और वो भी काफ़ी लंबे समय तक जब हम पे अर्निंग सोर्स नहीं है इतना ज़्यादा।
तो हम लोगों ने अपना बूट कैंप पे खुद ही फंड किया, इन्वेस्ट किया पूरा अच्छे से। फिर वहाँ पे बूट कैंप पे हमने 2-3 महीने अच्छे से खेला। उसके बाद हमारे को अज्जू भाई भी मिले।
तो उनको भी कुछ स्पोर्ट्स के लिए कुछ करना था बहुत ज़्यादा, और उनसे बात करके ना एकदम वाइब टू वाइब मैच कर गई। जिस प्रकार से उन्होंने सपोर्टिंग दिखाया, फिर हमने उनके बैंड के अंदर खेलना स्टार्ट किया, और तब हम जाके टोटल गेमिंग में जुड़े। और हमें उस टाइम में प्लेयर चाहिए थे, तो मैंने देखा होता है कि भाई एस्टेक अच्छा प्लेयर, अच्छा खेलता है।
4 साल पहले FFPL समर हुआ था, तो उसमें TG स्पोर्ट्स चैंपियन बनी थी। तब से मैं उन्हें देखता था। फिर उसके बाद 4 साल बाद मुझे फौजी भाई कांटेक्ट करते हैं कि मैं टीम बना रहा हूँ वापस, तो तू आएगा तो बता। तो ऑब्वियसली फौजी भाई के साथ मैं साथ हो गया।
तो एस्टेक हमें आइजिल मिला, शेंके में रशर मिला।
एस्टेक मेरा एक मतलब अच्छा दोस्त था पहले से ही। तो मेरे पे ऑफर्स थे बाकी टीम के भी, बट एस्टेक के साथ मैंने कंटिन्यू करना ज़्यादा अच्छा समझा, क्योंकि एस्टेक के साथ पहले से ही सिनर्जी, कोऑर्डिनेशन, एवरीथिंग वाज सेट। तो फिर मैंने TG ज्वाइन करी। पहले मेरा ग्राइंड सोलो ही हुआ करता था, यहाँ पे आके सब साथ में ग्राइंड करते थे, तो अच्छा था।
हमारे आपस की बॉन्डिंग वो लिटरली आज भी ऐसा है कि छोटे भाई बड़े भाई जैसे हमारी बॉन्डिंग रहने वाली है। टूर्नामेंट तो आज नहीं कल जीत जाएंगे, लेकिन जो एक भाईचारा, जो ब्रदरहुड हमारे अंदर, वो काफ़ी शानदार रहने वाला।
फिर अचानक से अनाउंसमेंट हुआ 1 CR का मैच टूर्नामेंट आ रहा है, FFMIC फ्री फायर मैक्स करवा रहे हैं।
हमने काफ़ी लंबे समय तक वेट किया टूर्नामेंट का, अब वो टाइम आ चुका है। अगर अब नहीं तो कभी नहीं।
FFMIC के जर्नी में तो अप्स एंड डाउन्स बहुत सारे थे।
From announcements to format explainers, survivors started in the city qualifiers, went to the FFC mode, and along with the invited teams made the best 48. And today we start the TEZ FFMIC India Cup 2026 Spring. My name is Lucifer. With me on desk is Crips, and today is where the group stages start.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I am super excited to start off with the group stages of a new season of the Free Fire Max India Cup Spring 2026. We crowned Total Gaming as the champions last year, and then after that we also had a bunch of Indian teams performing really well in the Free Fire Max Asia Invitational, proving once again that the Indian esports scene is on a massive rise. And this year we have done something absolutely unheard of. For the first time in the history of Indian esports, we have combined in-game qualifiers along with real-life physical qualifiers together. 4 cities, we saw massive qualifiers where 144 teams came in and registered, and they were lining up at like 3 a.m. in the morning to get in here and register for the city qualifiers. And then you had 38 teams come in from FFC mode as well. All of those people will join some of the best teams from the last year's tournament. The top 6 teams from the Free Fire Max India Cup 2025 will also be joining us. And obviously one of those teams has to be the reigning champions, iQOO Total Gaming.
This team, when they played last year in LAN, on that stage, they were the dominating teams. Those 2 days was only Total Gaming's name synonymous by everybody. They've written history in 2025. There was nobody who could doubt them. Nobody could challenge them, both in the class squad as well as in our Battle Royale. And let us start with the Booyah, the way they ended the previous day. However, in between their journey of the Champion Rush format that they had in 2025, they did not get Booyahs in Game 2 and Game 3. If they did that, Crips, maybe they could have ended their champion run very early. However, in the 6th game, they concluded it, and what a show it was. A back-to-back champion. Therefore, they have a lot riding on them in terms of the reigning champions, because now everybody is trying to take them down.
Everybody is trying to take them down. It's been too long that these teams have been looking up to Total Gaming. Now it's time for them to get on par with them. But then Total Gaming have the crown to defend, and some of these players have already been practicing. Ladies and gentlemen, you will see Total Gaming play today, because today is the 26th of February. We are starting off with the group stages today, but while Total Gaming are playing today, some of these teams have already begun their journey a long time ago. On the 7th and 8th of February, we went to 4 different cities across India and handpicked 4 different champions from the city qualifiers. And then on the 15th of Feb, we also had the FFC mode where 38 more teams were qualified, and those teams will now be joining the city qualifying teams and the top 6 teams from last year to enter the group stage, which will go on for 2 weeks. following which we will have the knockout stages again for 2 weeks and then the grand finals.
Grand Finals is going to be constituted of 2 days. We have the Point Rush, which is going to be on the 25th of April, and then the Champion Rush. While we saw our 2025 season having only Champion Rush, and it was about whoever got closer towards that 80 point, then activated the Champion Rush condition, this time they have a chance of another day to kickstart things off, and that will come to it. We'll explain what these 2 different days are, Point Rush as well as Champion Rush, but this is your tournament timeline. It started on February 7th. It's going to end on 26th of April, concluding of who the grand champion is going to be. And with that, let's take a look at the format of how this is going to take place over the days. We already spoke about the FFC mode, city qualifiers, and the invited teams from 2025 FFMIC. But we start with the group stages, that is today, and week 1 constitutes of 4 days because we have 4 groups. All of them have 12 teams, and with those teams playing 6 games per day, top 9 from every group will qualify to week 2, where now once more they fight for a chance to be the best 18, because only top 6 from every group is going to qualify towards our knockout stage. That's your group stage, where 48 to 36 towards week 2, and after week 2 it's going to be only the best 18.
Yep. And as long as you can make it into the top 18, you will be able to get into the knockout stage and secure yourselves a tiny part of the prize pool as well. But before we talk about that, let's take a look at the knockout stage, because this is rather complicated. So stay with me here, ladies and gentlemen. In the first week of knockout stage, we will be dividing the teams into 3 groups of 6 teams each. These 3 groups will play against each other in a round-robin format. That means all of them will end up playing with each other on one day. And then out of the 18 teams, top 12 will qualify to week 2. And on week 2, we have a very interesting format where every single day, top 2 teams of that particular day will straight up qualify for the grand final. So that's a shortcut ticket. If you manage to make it into week 2 and you're in the top 2 of any one particular day, you go directly to the grand final, skipping week 3. And then, let's say on day 1, the top 2 teams have already been sent forward to the grand finals. The teams who did not make it into the top 18 from week 1 will then start populating day 2 and day 3 respectively.
However, here's the thing, Crips. The team who are placed at the 17th and the 18th spot in that top 18 after week 1, they only play on week 3, and that's not the 6 games that everybody has to play on day 1, day 2, day 3 on week 2. They get to play 3 days of 6 games per day, and only top 6 qualify, meaning the going gets even harder for the teams at the 17th and the 18th, because every other team maybe who did not make it to the top 2 on day 1, day 2 and day 3 could not go into the grand finals. However, they've had a chance to grind, they've had a chance to play on the games, they've had an idea about the lobby. The only 2 new teams are the teams #17 and 18, so their probability of qualifying gets better, and that's where we get our best 12 teams for the grand finals, who start off on the Point Rush. And with Point Rush, here's the thing: teams ending in their positions get a head start for day 2. And what is that head start? It is additional points, and here are the additional points right in front of your screen. The team at the first position in the overall standing at the end of day 1 of the grand finals will get 10 points to start things on. It is not going to be 0 on their scorecard. Followed by the team at the second place getting 7, third place team gets 5 points, the fourth place team gets 3, the fifth place team gets 2, and the last team to get any points to head start is going to be the 6th position team in the overall standings. And the point rush for every other team from the 7th to the 12th is nil. So it is going to be a heated up start for the grand finals. You need to make sure you get a head start, because when you go into Champion Rush, it is all hell's let loose.
Exactly. Champion Rush is a very, very unforgiving format. Your first priority is to get across the 80 points marker and activate the Champion Rush condition. And once you have that condition activated, you need to win a booyah regardless of what happens. You could have all the points, all the eliminations in the world, but if you don't win that booyah, you're not going to be crowned champion. And unlike last year's Champion Rush condition, there is no maximum number of games.
Exactly.
The cap is removed. So there is still a possibility that we could have like 11 teams on Champion Rush condition at the end of the 12th game or something like that, at the end of the 11th game or something like that, and then all of them are just vying for a booyah in the end. I'm just thinking of the best, most entertaining possible scenario. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, Champion Rush condition this time will make it very, very entertaining.
It is, and I think this is why we said TEZ FFMIC India Cup 2026 for spring is going to be even better, and that is the reason we have our hashtag as Feel the Fire, because every player and every team has to go through this entire format that you just saw to become the champion. And what do they get? It is going to be 1 crore prize money that they have a chance to grab, and the champions out of that 1 crore will be getting 35 lakhs. That's a big briefcase to walk back home with.
Yep. The champions walk away with the lion's share, and as long as you make it into the top 18, that means as long as you qualify into the knockout stage, you will get a minimum payout of 77,500 rupees. And on top of that, on the 9 days of the knockout stage, we will be giving away 10,000 rupees daily, which means 90,000 bucks are up for grabs for the best team of that day. And if you make it into the grand finals, not only your team, but you also can individually win extra 1,50,000 rupees if you become the MVP.
It's going to be interesting. Previously, it was Shanky from iQOO Total Gaming who got this opportunity. Is it going to be him again this year? I think, as we did say, yes, they're the reigning champions. They are the reigning title holders for a lot of those titles that we ended up seeing in Lucknow, and I hope the other teams are gearing up to take that away from them. Otherwise, they could be the back-to-back champion for a season entirely. It's been almost 5 months. Teams haven't had a chance to break down stuff, change rosters, figure out the best playing forward, and I hope as they're gearing up in that top 48 to make it to top 36, they know what is at stake. But what is at stake mainly qualifies to how many points they get. The point system, as you see everywhere around the world, it is going to be the same point system where Booyah grabs and gets you 12 total placement points, followed by the team at the second position all the way till the 10th, getting 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So it's going to be counting backwards, but the teams positioned at 11th and 12th get nada. And that is going to be brewing trouble for them, because as we said from the very start of day one here, it is going to be about staying at the top, and if you miss out on that opportunity, you lose out on going ahead in FFMIC. However, there could be still a little bit of a change depending on their elimination crypts. If they get more, maybe they still make it through. However, in case it becomes a matchup of their scores, we have the tiebreaker where it's going to be first number of booyahs, then total eliminations, and in case all of that match, we go to the ranking in the final game to decide who is going to qualify or go further.
And in order to get as many points as possible, you will have to come up with the most unique active skill composition that you can come up with. Keep in mind that each player in a team needs to use a different active skill. You cannot have 2 players using the same ability. And this is where things get creative, because people will have to balance the aggressive abilities with the defensive ones, along with the information gathering abilities. And all of them will have to be used together in tandem to get the maximum possible points out of any given game. Last year, we saw that Oscar and Tatsuya were the 2 most aggressively used characters, along with Chrono being the most used defensive character. This year, we have a few new abilities in the mix. You also got Morse added to the game very recently, so I want to see if anyone uses that new character or not.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see with this OB update that we have had, teams trying to go their best in terms of the new buffs a certain amount of characters have received. Some of them are still looking to be better. I think we might end up seeing a lot more Oscar playing out as well. We did see that already in our 25 season. This time it could get even better with a little bit of a changes that it has had in the cooldown. But with that, let's jump to the changes that we have seen so far from 25 to the 26 season. We end up seeing AUTOBOTZ, who were previously named as AUTOBOTZ, making their way in as AUTOBOTZ this time, and with the 2 new players, that's going to be Anbu Jr. 7 along with Reti, Hyper and Akil Jr. They are the ones who are going to be out of this roster for this season. And I like this play of AUTOBOTZ that they've brought in with the new set of faces. We already have seen Aleem Sham as well as Sheikh in action, and with this new energy, maybe they're ready to cook things up.
Yeah, I want to see what Anbu and Reti can do. These 2 new guns are replacing some very, very experienced players, so I want to see them firing on all their cylinders, and I want to see AUTOBOTZ have a good start to their particular day whenever they go ahead and play. There's been a bunch of other teams that have also gone through a lot of roster changes, and we will be speaking about every one of those teams one of the biggest names that has gone through a change is SHUL Elite, because it's like the combination of two super teams. You will recognize Ronit, Vota and Sohan from Reckoning Esports. These three players used to be in Reckoning Esports, and now they have joined SHUL Elite alongside Pahadi and Mr. Jay, who at one point were awarded the most aggressive rusher and the best sniper of the country. Pahadi and Mr. Jay have some storied careers, and when they are joined by Ronit, Vota and Sohan, I think this is a new super team in the making. Obviously, they had to bid goodbye to Ninja and Spidey. I love watching Spidey play, but unfortunately, I will now be more excited to see what can Pahadi do when he's working alongside a big mind like Ronit. Also, SHUL Elite are not the only big team that have gone through these changes. iQOO, Orangutan, XTSG have also had a massive change.
It's going to be interesting to see the new ones adding into the roster, Pandat as well as Ayush. It's surprising to see Siddharth as well as Vasio going away. These guns and the amount of experience that those two players had, and it's surprising that they're not going to be playing in this. However, a little bit of information, Siddharth is still there in another roster. We'll be introducing him when that roster is put on your screens. But for now, along with Pandat as well as Ayush, is going to be Legend, Arjun and Krish, who are already there in TSG, getting this new additions, getting up for this season of FFMIC 2026 to make sure they're going to be better than ever. And better than ever is this new change that we've seen. The NG pros that were there last season, the aggressiveness that these teams carried, the players went ahead with, looked forward to the title holders. This time come under a new banner as God's Reign Pros, and it's going to be interesting to see these lads in action as they try their chance for the title.
NG Pros were one of the most feared teams in the 2025 season, and now that they have been acquired by an esports organization, they not only can keep up that aggressiveness, but you know that they will also be taken care of financially. So this is a massive update for them. And you also have Team Hind. They have had a roster change where Black has left the lineup, and you will see that Shoto has joined him. Although the names that you see over here will be very familiar to some Reverend X-Park fans, because they will recognize that this team is full of some old RNTX players.
Now these players, they did seem like the most possible lineup to kind of upset the stage in FFMIC 2025. However, I think the LAN stage did give some players the heebie-jeebies. They were not able to put their best foot forward. So now, after almost 5 months, another chance here for these lads who are going to be getting ready on Hind's end. But it's not only Hind. We also see a change-up in their name. That is Car 98 Army going towards Zutsu Gaming with Harsh, Soul, Sid, Botcod and Karthik. Another young, fearful lineup that we almost thought that could go for the longest run during our FFMIC 2025. Did fall a little short, but this time coming in, this is a new season. This is the best start that they would want for 2026. I hope Harsh, Soul, Sid, Botcod and Karthik are gearing up for it, because this new name that now they have should be enough, as they already have the power in their game.
Yep, luckily they don't have any roster changes, so even though the overall team name changes, their synergy will remain the same. Now let's take a look at Olympians, because they have had quite the turbulent past. Team Tycoons, while they were a very aggressive lineup, they weren't always able to back up that aggressiveness with the points in the 2025 seasons. In the 2025 seasons, you might have recognized them under the name of Team Tycoons. After which, during FFMAI, they played in yet another lineup, and now for the 2026 seasons, they have rebranded as the Olympians. But it's not the exact same lineup as last year. They bid goodbye to Flash and Raju, and instead they have added Manish and Farhan to the roster.
It's going to be interesting to see Manish here. He played in FFMIC with God's Reign, and now under this aggressive youngster lineup that we've already seen Gopo and Amin playing incredibly well, getting eliminations for the team. Let's see how that functions. But with all that put to rest, the changes that have happened, it's time to see who the teams are going to be that will be playing today. It is the group stage starting our week 1, day 1, and it is going to be the first group, which is Group A, consisting of iQOO Total Gaming, The Knights, Atomic Esports, Emz Esports, IQESPORTS, Skull Esports, TW-ESPORTS, AUTOBOTZ Esports, Assassin's Army Esports, FX Elite, Arise Esports. Last but not the least, the team qualified from the city qualifiers in Hyderabad, that is Team TAMILAS.
Yep, the city qualifier winners of Hyderabad were called Gurunatha Official, and now they have joined the banner of Team TAMILAS, so that's a big plus for them as well. And at the same time, I would like to remind our viewers that Assassin Army Esports used to be called Mahabharat Esports just until a few weeks ago. And now they were signed up by Assassin Army themselves at the start of this season because he saw potential in them. So a lot of these talented players have entered either the banners of good esports organizations or massive esports creators. And I wish them the best of luck for this season because all these players, they all stand the chance of becoming the next big household name in the Indian Free Fire circuit. Some of the players that I would like to keep my eyes on are Bittu from Atomic Esports because I really saw him perform well. And of course, in Skull Esports, I would like to keep my eyes on Prime and the best. I mean, if he calls himself the best, is he actually going to live up to that name?
He has to. I mean, it's going to be interesting. He also has the number 7. But moving on towards the Knights, I'm a little surprised. We did see Priyansh in his games playing around with the team, but seems like he's not going to be playing out today at least. But it's going to be a crucial day. On the other end, you already know the lineup of iQOO Total Gaming. Let's jump into the second set of 6 teams. We have TW-ESPORTS, AUTOBOTZ, Assassin's Army, FX Elite, Arise, and Team TAMILAS. And this is again an interesting lineup. While we were before getting up for the show today, we did see TW-ESPORTS almost looking very good in terms of their strategy, so that's a lineup to look forward to. And AUTOBOTZ, we already spoke about these lads. However, it seems like Sham is going to be there, Sheikh is not going to be playing. It's going to be Aleem along with the new additions Anbu as well as Rethi. So it's going to be very interesting to see this new setup of AUTOBOTZ Esports getting up along with Assassin's Army, which we did hear that were able to grab a couple of booyahs in the previous test games. So it's going to be interesting of how they put their foot forward because it's going to be only 6 games, and those 6 games are right in front of your screens, starting off with Nexterra.
Yep, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be starting off with Nexterra and then we head to Bermuda and then Solara. The next 3 games will be Purgatory, Kalahari and Alpine. And in these 6 games, for now, the objective is simple. Stay out of the bottom 3. That's all you need to do. This is a very long format, and I admit that towards the knockout stage, the tournament format does get a little confusing as well. But for today, the priority of these players will be to not suck, to not be in the bottom 3. That's all they need to focus on. Get in the top 9 and you'll be fine.
Let's hope they are, because when we did see the previous season of 2025 and that duration, the cutoff for the 4 groups that we did see during the group stages, as you can see right in front of your screens. Group A at 34, Group B at 41, Group C is at the current mark off that we are predicting at 50, and Group D is at 44 in terms of their cutoff points. And this is again telling you all watching the stream during TEZ FFMIC 2025, during the group stages, while we had those 48 teams, this is their variation of how they managed to make it towards the top 9. You could see that it did go a little low in Group A, however after that it did rise the ranks. So thinking about this time, we are averaging it around 50, and that's what we think is the sweet spot for every team. And I hope if everybody gets to that 50, they should start off on a good note. And starting off on a good note is going to be depending on their drop spots. Here is the 12 teams according to the first game that we have Nexterra in their respective drop spots, and we know this is a little in terms of what they're comfortable on, but looking at the teams that are there in the lobby, they might change the drop spot. However, looking at it, we have a 3-way clash around Mortar Ruins, Rust and Zipway between iQOO, TW as well as AUTOBOTZ. Deca Square is going to be a hotspot. We generally have seen that. We end up seeing Atomic and Arise. Museum has Assassin as well as Skull. Total Gaming and Emz at Farmtopia. Now that's going to be interesting if that happens.
It will definitely be interesting, but there's one thing that you all need to keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen. These are just the predicted drop spots.
Yes.
That means the teams tell us where they are going to drop. Naturally, they are not inclined to tell the full truth so that they can bamboozle their opponents. Nobody would want to reveal their strategies. Of course, some teams are brave enough to loudly and proudly declare, hey, I'm gonna drop in Zipway, I dare you to contest me. So they will, remain true to their word. Some of these teams will obviously lie a little to deceive their opponents. So take this little screen about predicted drop spots with a pinch of salt. And because it's very hard to predict, they have put us casters on the spot. So let's take a look at our predictions. I think IQ Total Gaming is a no-brainer. It's an obvious pick. That's why both of us have picked it up. I've picked up FX Elite as well as AUTOBOTZ for the first game. I believe AUTOBOTZ can do really well in Nexterra because the stats indicate that this is one of their less weak maps. It's not the strongest for them. But I see you've picked up Team TAMILAS Assassin Army. Why would you pick that up for Nexterra particularly?
Just thinking about this being the very first game, I did have AUTOBOTZ in my mind, but I did realize this is the start of a tournament. Now they're going to be fighting for their chance of going towards the top 36 for the next week. So all that in play, I think the first game is going to be that first game issue situation that we generally see from major teams. And that's why I went with a little more teams who had a lot more experience, who I could kind of bank upon. And I feel like Team TAMILAS, especially that they had to go through that entire unraveling city qualifiers that they had to. Imagine the number of numerous players that they headed down live right there in front of them, and they were able to beat them. So I think this online phase of their qualifiers should be a tad bit easier. However, cannot say completely this is going to be the truth, because as we said, this is the very first game, Crips, to be honest, right? For us, it's about just making sure that this is what they did and maybe this is how it could replicate, but depending on however it starts off, and especially that it's starting off on Nexterra, not Bermuda, we are still in wondering of which team could pick things up, because also on top of it, we spoke about the unique active skill, right? It's going to be interesting because this is where we start.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I know that you guys have been waiting for quite some time, so without further ado, let's jump into the first game of the 2026 season. Ladies and gentlemen, we are taking off over the skies of Nexterra for the first game of the 2026 Spring TEZ Free Max India Cup. Let's get it on!
It is time, and as you can see, we thought Farmtopia is where iQOO Total Gaming would go, but they head over towards Intellect Center. However, it is going to be Team TAMILAS as well as FX Elite who are going to be dropping down around Museum. Could be a clash over there. Same goes towards Mortar Ruins as well. As we see AUTOBOTZ and TW, we end up seeing Skull maybe not having any trouble because they're around the boxing gym, but we end up seeing a clash towards Farmtopia because Assassin's Army and Emz are ready to fight things off. But FX Elite, they become the starting of the elimination lead lobby as they pick up the very first against Team TAMILAS.
And that is gonna be a very, very difficult pill to swallow. FX Elite drawing first blood. But you got TW-ESPORTS also retaliating against AUTOBOTZ as they get the knock onto Unbu. Reiti responds in kind, trades each other out. But with the chrono, FX Elite have managed to get their players back up. Cyber with the double elimination, putting his team up at 3. That is amazing. They leave their opponents just struggling and forced to retreat them.
Team TAMILAS, I thought would have had a stronger start, but for now, they're getting taken down. In the meantime, we also end up seeing a hit list being activated. So this is the game where all teams are saying no mercy, we go for it all. And Assassin's Army also on the field, as you can see, picking up eliminations right, left and center. And same goes for Arise, using the portal, jumping across, making sure they put down the players from Atomic. They did grab a few as they have 2 already on their name. Now they're searching for the next, and finally they do spot him and put an end to his run. Therefore, Mad God, he did go down to his opponent, will be instantly reviled because they were able to recover the elimination. However, Skull are keeping their eyes set because they saw this clash happening and they immediately find a knock and a warning shot.
Arise Esports leaving their opponents with just 1 member left. They also have Skull Esports in their crosshairs where they've got 1 knock, but that guy is behind a glue wall. So whether or not they can confirm that elimination is a different problem. You have the best moving to revive that fallen player, but it seems like nobody from Arise Esports is keeping tabs on their opponents anymore. Meanwhile, IQESPORTS are getting into a skirmish against TW-ESPORTS, so a lot of fights are happening simultaneously. Keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, that we still have the new OP52 update where if at least one of your teammates stays alive, you can respawn the rest of your members in 60 seconds without having to go near a vending machine or near a recall tower. So that rule is also here. This means a lot of these teams will be very excited to fight early on and get as many elimination points as possible.
That is the whole point of this early clash that we are seeing. We thought Arise will end up fighting with the Skull, but it seems like the Knights, they want to take them down. Every bit of the armor that they're wearing. Vedant seems like the last person standing, surrounded by the entirety of Arise, but Johan, he gets hit from afar. Knight Suction, he tries to take him down, does not successfully end up making it work. However, instant retaliation coming in, and that was played really well, and Max instantly trying to revive his teammate, putting up glue walls for the time being, but Kunal is not giving him enough time, not giving him enough chance to move around. Nice knock that he finds, but can he find the one more player? No, Satya retaliates, and the Knights still have a chance to answer back.
Yeah, very fast revives from Max and Satya. These guys should be able to get back up on their feet. They even have enough possibilities to get Vedant back up online, but Satya can't pop the glue wall in time, so he goes down. Saksham, he tries to retaliate, hoping to avenge his fallen teammate, but Rethi puts up a glue wall and saves himself, so no trades possible for the Knights. And now poor Satya is bleeding out, hoping that he will be set up as bait. Meanwhile, the champions of the previous year are fighting once again. It's iQOO Total Gaming locking horns against Assassin Army. Two of the finest teams, two of the most well-known teams in the lobby are up against each other.
Assassin's Army, they have only one player surviving somewhere in the mix who's made a quick run, and it seems like he's also been found by Arise's Kunal. And they have it in their favor, as it is Assassin's Army who get completely eliminated. So we have two teams out of the game in this early start of our FFMIC 2026, and that's going to be a big surprise. As we said, all these 12 teams have only one single day and 6 games to play, meaning they've already lost their 6th game. It's going to be the next 5 games, but for now, it seems being an onslaught of eliminations, and iQOO Total Gaming, they go for their next search of who they want to eliminate.
Yeah, they kill one member of Team TAMILAS. Konsu is out of the lobby. They can probably bring him back up, but iQOO Total Gaming are just going around like the manifestation of the Grim Reaper. 7 eliminations to their name, leading the elimination charts for the time being. And of course, the one guy that they managed to get a frag on is from Team TAMILAS, who are also tied up with them in terms of elimination points. Atomic Esports, trying their level best to pad up their stats, have 4 to their name. And they are also on a pretty good mark way to get this elimination onto script, because he's kind of alone over here. He will have to fight out this 1v4 possibly, unless his teammates come back in to help him out, which I don't think is happening anytime soon. Script finally jumps out of the window, hoping to buy himself some time, hoping to juke his opponents, and he runs away. But they're chasing him, cornered him in this tiny corner. Yeah, they're trying to climb up on top of each other's head, hoping to get the elevation above the glue wall, but when it finally pops, Script will be killed, and Yogesh instantly brings him back within a second.
At least had an opportunity to wait some time, and that gave his teammates from Team TAMILAS to go to another spot, and it left Atomic Esports outside the zone. So right now they have a long distance to go, and on top of that they have a hit list to predict where the next opponent is. So they're moving in the direction. So at least for Atomic, even though they were outside in the play zone, not much to be worried about. They still have some information based on this hit list. A long way to go, but on the other end we see Team TAMILAS. Script might have gone down, but he still has the highest amount of damage, already sitting at 2000. That's big to see at the game start itself. This is something that we end up seeing teams average on their individual player, but right now averaging more than what we would have expected here in our first game is iQOO Total Gaming. In their total number of eliminations, they've already hit 10, and they're chasing for a lot more. Unbelievable start that they've had. Grab Labs, but from there now they're moving in another direction in their next hunt.
I mean, the second circle hasn't even started shrinking, and they're already at double digits. They're already at 10. You know, last year when we saw a team drop like 20 eliminations in a single game and win a booyah, like, you know, if they get like 30 points in a game, we would absolutely lose our minds. I think with the current OB52 update, it's gonna get a lot easier to farm all your opponents and just turn this lobby into an elimination point factory for yourself. And I wouldn't be surprised if Total Gaming end up getting like 20 eliminations once again before the 4th circle itself, and like end the game with a 30 elimination bomb.
That's going to be a big one, to be honest, Crips. But on top of this is going to be even TW-ESPORTS. They've already had 7 eliminations. They're looking for 3 more. They've spotted 2 players from Emz. Mac left behind. Mr. Ani has managed to climb up the hill, but what is the distance he can traverse? Can he still have a chance to save his teammate? The side of TW say no, they put an end to Mac, and now they're on the search for Ani. On the other end, Demon still keeping an eye, making sure nobody is following his squad, not troubling him from the back lines, and now Ani is left all alone because his teammates are nowhere close by. He tries to run from here, he's going to be caught in the crosses of another. Trying to buy time because his teammates are in the other direction. Mac, who was taken down, has been revived. He's right now on the Skyfall. But Mr. Ani, he will eventually be rushed, taken down by Beast, and confirmed on the Max Swag 7.
Yeah, he tried to cook that nade hoping to get the elimination, but he just got completely pushed up. Now, you have iQOO Total Gaming fighting iQOO Esports. Even though the name sounds similar, these guys are here to prove that there can only be one true winner. So Mafia will run away for the time being and hopefully get his teammates back up online. But Vishal finds him. That ACAT confirms the shot. And the champions of the yesteryear are out of the first game after having a massive 13 elimination points to their name.
That's
they
big.
went down swinging.
They did go out like a mammoth, but however, they do get some amount of placement points for all their efforts. But for now, TW, they might take upon the position of the 11 eliminations to push it further from iQOO Total Gaming. Even iQOO Esports as well could take it away because they're the ones who clashed with iQOO Total Gaming and took them out of this game of Nexterra, pushed them to the lobby. But for now, things have slowly taken a dip in terms of the fights because now teams have to understand that they have to get closer, get better weapons, upgrade them as well, because when they move towards the last and final few fights, it all depends on who's going to be better in their gun game, and therefore they're deciding getting all their equipment upgraded and now getting towards the launch pad and moving in. FX Elite on the other end, however, they're at the edge of the circle, not much to be worried about. They will hold this line, making sure nobody enters from this direction.
Oh, and they don't need to move much. Even the next zone kind of favors them. Oh no, poor Aditya finds himself in the middle of TW-ESPORTS. Wrong place at the wrong time, buddy. There's no way he would have pulled up that 1v4. And that is another number added into the kitty of TW-ESPORTS, who are just 1 point away from overtaking iQOO Total Gaming already. Monster truck call down, even though the zone is like a stone's throw away. They will much rather use this truck and hopefully use it as solid cover in the open areas if at all the zone gravitates towards one such zone, towards one such area. But now that the circle is about to start shifting once again, these teams will be forced to come together. And you've already got the Knights occupying one corner each of that shopping mall building. Meanwhile, FX Elite are going to be sticking to that corner of the circle already. AUTOBOTZ have a tiny area to their name. And Farmtopia is currently occupied by EMZ. That being said, though, iQOO Esports are also trying to get over here.
Oh, the Ultra Drop. iQOO Esports, they're getting this advantage on the new update that we see on OB52. Getting the best in terms of the equipment. And EMZ, even though they're close by at Farmtopia, they will not be able to challenge them at all because iQOO, they've been so good in terms of their fights. They already have a total of 13 eliminations and they already even have a hit list on Knights Max, meaning they have that player's position pinged constantly. So they know where they do need to head in case they need eliminations or they want to keep themselves out of the lobby. We still have so many teams still gearing up for a fight, looking forward to what's going to happen next. And on top of that fight is going to be even AUTOBOTZ for holding off a building.
The zone shifts slightly more towards the east, forcing some of these players to cross that treacherous river, that treacherous bridge, and enter the museum area. AUTOBOTZ already have a nice position for themselves. Similarly, even Emz Esports are their peaceful neighbors for the time being. And across the road near the gas pump, I can't even call it a gas pump. Is it a battery station with the electric vehicles and whatnot? They've got one more team in that corner. But oh no, wait! TW-ESPORTS! They thought the riverbank was safe, but AUTOBOTZ just opened fire on them the moment they set foot on land. And that's going to be TW-ESPORTS out at 13 eliminations.
This is why you stay too much out in the play zone, it's going to cause you trouble. And AUTOBOTZ are continuing that fight against another squad. Emz and Aditya, he also gets knocked. His elimination is fortune. There is nowhere that he's going to be running away to survive. However, it seems like Emz is still survived by one player. Not sure where he's gone. AUTOBOTZ, after getting those eliminations, they saw the circles moved. Same is the intention of Arise. As you can see, taking a launch pad, making their way towards just the circle above Museum. And that's where the last player of Emz is. We just saw him on the screen. Seems like he's moved in another direction, taking the launch pad as well. And therefore, for the time being, Arise is the only team having the control of the circle.
Yeah, and Arise will be able to gatekeep the teams like Knights and IQESPORTS. That is, if they've gotten the firepower to boot. Knights know that IQESPORTS will be forced to move towards their building first before they make that jump towards the compound that Arise Esports have. So Knights really need to destroy anyone that gets in their way because they can't fight in both the directions at once. Nero Plushie deployed. AUTOBOTZ, who are now on the northern edge of the zone, have to decide whether they want to fight FX Elite or move away from them. On paper, Team TAMILAS are a much softer target. So are Team EMZ. But they want to get rid of the harder target first. And there goes the nade from Rethi. He gets Arijit. And more to follow as Avijit and Cyber gear up behind two blue walls. Oh my god, the dashes come through and look at Anbu Jr. diving straight inside alongside Rethi, and they're dancing around the corner shield so beautifully. They're putting their shotguns to work and Avijit has been able to weather the storm. Cyber tries to go around. He flips and gets the shot onto Rethi, and that's the AUTOBOTZ dealt with. Sham OP now has to fight his own demons and he's trying to get away from there with a mini launch pad. But Cyber and Avijit have to take care of the team on their right hand side who are just raining fire from them. But no, AUTOBOTZ also get eliminated. Sham thought he was safe when he made that jump, but he gets eliminated, Lucifer.
He does. What a game coming in here. It is flipping every second and we are still unable to figure out which team is it best. It's maybe IQESPORTS because they still have all their 4 players. However, they're in the edge of the play zone. They know there's a team right ahead of them. That's going to be Arise, a team we spoke who had the circle, but the circle is now shifted. So the entire zone is going to be moving and Arise are in trouble because they decided to take the compound, and for them to exit, they have 2 teams surrounding them. On one end, we have the Knights, and on the other end, it's going to be IQESPORTS. So it's going to be a tough battle in case Arise even think of getting out. And you can see glue melters making sure they don't have a chance to put up glue walls, get closer. Nades being tossed to try and see if they can push IQ, and they throw a plushie as well, making sure they abide them by time, put them in that corner for a longer duration. But finally, IQ, as they make their distance towards the circle, they give a little space for Arise, but Arise, they're climbing, getting closer. This is the time they decide to push, and there it is with a dash. They break open the glue walls, but still not a knock found on either end. But instantly, Prime and Brand, they take 2 players down. Kunal is also down. It comes down to the last player. Karthik now has to make sure he picks his players up, but FX Elite, they've spotted them. They deny the players' revival, and the team who thought they could get this booyah are left with the last 2 survivors.
Arise Esports out of this one, and now we are down to the final 4 teams. The Knights and IQESPORTS having just 2 players each, but FX Elite have the most number of players in this lobby, so they can actually convert this one. Nice shot by Avijit. He follows up on both those players, so he gets 2 eliminations from 2 different teams, putting up FX Elite at 12. It's just Vedant from the Knights. He's trying to make his way into the zone, but his path is full of obstacles that he will have to Olympic jump track over. Can Vedant actually make it across? Raichu has been put in charge of keeping tabs on him. Meanwhile, the rest of the players try to find out where the remaining members of IQESPORTS are, who are just holding steady for the time being. They find the script, and the script has come to an end. The movie for him ends now. The stars of this show are FX Elite, who just have to slay Vedant to claim their booyah. A 1v3 on the cards for Vedant. Impossible odds stacked against him, and they know exactly where he is. The floor is frozen as they try to pounce upon him, and FX Elite want this booyah. They want to clinch it and grab it with both their hands to mark a great start for them in the 2026 season of FFMIC.
A booyah for them to crown themselves as they are a team to look forward to. Arijit, Raichu, Cyber, Avijit and Surya, they pick up the very first game on Nexterra in their favor. They get the booyah and make sure every other team that tried to contest them are getting taken down. It all started with AUTOBOTZ. That was the biggest of surprises because FX Elite were in a position they were outside in the zone getting damaged upon. They were blocked by glue walls and it was AUTOBOTZ who seemed like they were almost getting control of it. But once Rethi went down, Sham had no place to go, and that's where FX Elite took charge of the last few circles, ended up coming towards the final few fights and also ended up winning this game. It all started here to build their confidence when IQESPORTS, as well as we ended up seeing Arise fighting amongst each other where IQ almost took charge of it, but then fire shots came in from such a long distance from FX Elite, and finally Vedant, he did put down the last player from IQ, but that gave away his position and charged rightfully for a booyah for FX Elite.
Amazing performance by FX Elite. 14 eliminations to their name, which puts them at a total of 26. But then IQESPORTS, credit where it's due, 18 points with just eliminations. They used that last circle as their personal calculator and just punched in the digits repeatedly until it hit 26, and they're tied up with FX Elite. Also, massive games for teams like TAMILAS, TW-ESPORTS and IQ Total Gaming, all of them getting double digits in their eliminations, which is a decent start for every one of these teams. But for teams like Arise Esports, even though they were in such a strong position, they could not capitalize on it. That circle shift which forced them to abandon their compound and come outside was really their undoing, as they walked away with only 15 points at the 7th spot.
Same goes for AUTOBOTZ. They were holding the rooftop and making sure that nobody crosses the rivers. Nobody has a chance even to make sure that the water is going to be clean. They put every player down, picked those eliminations. However, when it came to denying other teams the land, AUTOBOTZ did not have much chance. Emz on the other end, we saw them running across the map individually. We saw their players getting picked off, another player in another direction goes and revives. Atomic Esports, similar situation. Assassin's Army as well as Skull, a little bit of an unfortunate situation, very early elimination. But let's jump into the MVP of game 1, Nexterra, and that's going to be Cyber, who played with a chrono, making sure that the opponents do not have much chance in terms of trying to shoot him through it. And he had 6 total eliminations, 5 assists and a total damage of 2,549, along with his pet Arvon, making sure that nobody hides from him.
Yeah, nobody hides from him. He takes no prisoners. He puts everyone down to sleep, and that's a dirt nap right there. The chrono deployment was amazing by FX. I mean, the decision to use that chrono immediately after one of your teammates has used that Oscar dash to make sure that he's not out in the open is incredible. And because he used that chrono while he was fighting the third team, he was able to get rid of the most dangerous team in that position, because I think they were the only ones who posed a threat to them. They were right next to them, and they were the only people with like more than 3 players alive. So you need to deal with that. You need to prioritize your targets, and they prioritized it really well. And as you can see, these guys have like 3 rushers. So they've got the Nero, the Chrono, as well as the Oscar available for them when it comes to being aggressive.
And it did work out for them, and even their passives as well. We spoke about Cyber already, him having a Thiva. There were another 2 players also having it. That tells us that they were ready to go for that instant revival in case their teams were down. And that is one of the reasons they were able to withstand the fight coming in from AUTOBOTZ. And you can take a look at the stats. You do see the highest amount of damage coming in from Cyber at 2,500, which we spoke about, but not following 2 back is going to be Raichu as well as Avijit, both close to that 1,700 in terms of damage. However, Avijit has more number of eliminations. That's going to be 5. On top of that, he has even assists coming through. Arijit a little early in terms of his elimination, therefore all he could do is going to morale boost. However, not bad. He also has that 1 elimination. With that, let's jump into our circle analysis, as we can take a look at how these teams made their journey, and especially how FX Elite managed to get their victory. We did see a fight break out at Farmtopia. From there, you could see they jumped all the way towards Intellect Center, kept themselves out of that fight, and we do see Team TAMILAS as well as TW trying to get behind them, but unfortunately Team TAMILAS at all times were being pummeled with bullets from various directions.
So FX Elite just maintained control over that northern periphery, and over here you will see that perfect chrono deployment where he's able to get rid of KS as well as the other teams who were around them like IQESPORTS. So because they prioritized fighting the Knights first, they were able to win this game, and they basically kept themselves on the edge of the northernmost part of the map. and that basically ensured that nobody can get behind them. They don't get sandwiched between teams, and they're not forced to abandon their position and run away without future planning. That was a problem that AUTOBOTZ faced, because they had a decent position for themselves up until like the 4th circle, and then you can see how they were just desperate to get outside, which got them shot from every single direction. Both Emz Esports as well as AUTOBOTZ faced that problem. FX Elite did not, and that shows how having multiple backup plans can also fail for you sometimes. And even though FX Elite were not in the best possible position, there were better teams over here who had more cover for themselves. They had much more real estate to their name. FX Elite just prioritized their targets really well. And as long as you do that, as long as nobody can get close to you and you shoot down anybody that does, you should be safe. You should be fine, even if you don't have prime real estate.
Now in this game 1, right, Crips, all I could see is the script, right, kept changing from the very start till the very end. You could never think that the team who had so much control, had the best in terms of the utility, had their upgraded equipment. We even saw an ultra airdrop being used of this new update. All of that, and still those teams were not the ones who grabbed the booyah, and the team was FX Elite. And that tells you, right, this game number 1, even though teams are fighting at their best, getting the most amount of eliminations, might be ramping their game up, might be better in terms of strategy, positioning, because we saw Arise, we spoke about them, they had the better advantage inside the circle, but they decided to go passive inside the compound, and then became their own demise. And unfortunately, when these kind of things happen, this is like how you're pushed with new updates every time in terms of a script. Then, hey, there's a slight change in the script, can you follow this now, can you follow this now? And that's where a problem happened for these teams. Anybody who adapted was FX Elite.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just about finding the best possible spot to hold, but also making sure that nobody else gets there by forcing everybody else away. And as we move on to game number 2, you can see that there's quite a massive cluster of teams near Mill. You've got FX Elite and the Knights. I think these two teams are going to end up becoming bitter rivals by the end of the day, because they've already clashed with each other so much. Atomic Esports might just abandon that spot and go towards Plantation or Riverside. I know for a fact that Total Gaming are not lying when they talk about Bhima Sakti Strip. They will most likely have a split drop with 2 people going to Bhima Sakti Strip and the other 2 either alternating between Clock Tower and Peak. But I am very surprised that nobody has tried to claim Clock Tower or Factory for themselves. I mean, those are some really good spots, man.
I think this is where we kind of figure out, right, where we speak about it as teams are just giving us what their usual drop spots would be, but according to the lobby they would change. But I do like how the entire split was between the teams, which seemed again like of what happened on Nexterra, a lot of early game fights. And that's where I enjoy this OB52 update coming through, where teams are now ready for a lot more of these early skirmishes that they are going for, because they could pick up a lot of eliminations. I think on an average we were able to see in our first game itself around 4 eliminations per team. And the teams who got eliminated even early, one of them was Assassin's Army. Unfortunate, Skull did not pick much. They got only 1 elimination. Assassin's Army also went down with 4 elimination. That tells us that these teams are getting up for any fight that they're ready. And that is one of the reasons that we saw almost an eagle-shaped drop spot coming through. But with that, let's see if we get our caster predictions this time closer to what happened in the previous game, or this game is going to be better. We see Assassin's Army on both the ends, but I flipped the script here, going for the Knights and IQESPORTS, both of them in our top 4 in the previous game.
Yeah, I mean, I picked up FX Elite last time only because I thought they were decent in Nexterra, but I've dropped them now in Bermuda because teams like Assassin Army and Team TAMILAS have a much better chance. I mean, Team TAMILAS were called Gurunath Official. That's how they qualified via the Hyderabad city qualifiers, and they really destroyed everybody in Bermuda over there. So I'm like, okay, if you can do it in the city qualifiers, if you can do it in a LAN setting, you should definitely be able to do it from the comfort of your own houses. So that's why I've picked Team TAMILAS, and then I've picked Assassin Army because just vibes. And I mean, IQ Total Gaming is a very safe and very obvious pick, so I'm not even proud of that pick.
Yeah,
it's the safest thing that I could do, being a basic guy over here.
Here on week 1 and day 1, this is going to be our prediction similarly, because when we go towards tomorrow as well, all these teams have not full-fledgedly played their games in this specific lobby. So it's going to be a little bit of a testing scenario as we kind of talk about it to see which team is going to be best, even for us to kind of predict and get an idea of who's going to be better. We kind of go back to their litmus paper tests of what they did in the previous games, of how it fared out for them in their FFC mode, or it could be even in their city qualifiers. But yeah, I think a lot of eyes towards iQOO Total Gaming in general by the end of the day as well is somewhere down the line. Even for the fans, they're also predicting that they should be the top team at the end of the overall scores. Even though game 1 was not theirs, they were able to get 13 total eliminations way early in the game. That tells you that why they were called the reigning champions, the most amount of title holders. But with all out of the way, we are going back to Bermuda, right? A spot where everybody's used to playing. So that's where we kickstart things off, that everybody should have a better time. But after seeing game number 1, honestly, Crips, I felt like every team had the best time. They went all out. None of them felt like they left out. They could not perform as best. They did their best in game 1 itself.
Exactly right. I mean, last season we saw that the first 2-3 days of the tournament were very mellow, very chill. The teams were just getting a feel of the lobby. They were just getting used to that tier 1 lobby experience. But this time the teams just seem to not care at all, and they're just going ham right from the get-go. And I am very proud of the teams for doing that. I hope that they continue absolutely blitzkrieging into their opponent's territory in this map as well, as we hop into Bermuda now. Plane path gonna be diagonally, not even diagonally, like straight up horizontally bisecting the map as we go from the easternmost part to the westernmost part. We end at Hangar, and you can already see a potential drop clash over here. Emz Esports and AUTOBOTZ both dropping in Cape Town. Peak heavily contested, both TW-ESPORTS as well as iQOO over there. Will Bhima Shakti's trip be occupied by iQOO Total Gaming? Nope, they lied. They didn't go to Bhima Shakti. They went towards the mill. That's silly of me for not figuring that out. But we have first blood already, Lucifer. It's Aleem who gets the first elimination of the game.
AUTOBOTZ, after what happened in the previous game, they're not accepting what took them down. They want to prove themselves to be better, and they open up with the very first elimination here, similar to how they were playing previously. But along with them, even Team TAMILAS and Arise are in a fight against each other, and Arise is going to be the first to take that player's crypt down. Aleem gets challenged for now from Atomic's Piyush, but he knows his position, calls his teammates as well. For now, blocking by a glue wall. However, his teammates have pushed in. They've surrounded him. So it's going to be trouble for Piyush, and he gets taken down. That's going to be another confirmation for AUTOBOTZ. And then Anbu gives the info of the other players who are trying to run away. Volt is stuck on the rooftop, and the other person, his position is known as he's trying to traverse and jump.
Jumping across the rooftops. Tried shooting his opponent while also making that jump, and that's what leads to him falling off. Can't do parkour when you got guns in your hands, but oh my god, Anbu almost got taken down, dips back into cover. You've got Volt trying to fight against Aleem, but Aleem has the angles. Volt lies flat down on the ground, hoping that the prone position will save him, but the moment he dips back up, his head is taken clean off of his shoulders, and that's how they avenge Wraithy. Anbu once again trying to go across. Bittu has the number of Sham OP, so Anbu has to change trajectory and get the res onto Sham. He does it successfully, but now they're about to head into another 1v1 against Piyush, and Piyush is kind of isolated over here. If he gets jumped by Aleem, he's gonna die, and that's exactly what happens. No backup for Piyush, and they thank him for giving him the tokens necessary for the vending machine so they can get the res onto Wraithy as well.
Early total 4 eliminations already here, and Aleem is the elimination leader already. That's a big start coming through. Spotted Volt already, and Volt will not have much in terms of utility. So he's a vehicle. Quickly takes it, makes a getaway off it. And therefore, I think he should be able to run away. They did decide to stand in this position for a long time, took that fight headstrong, but eventually knew now that the resources have completely depleted in this spot, they had to move in the other direction. Good call coming in, but it seems like there's still one player at the edges of the riverbed that we can see, and there is a UAV drone trying to figure out if those players are still close by. While that's happening, it seems like FX Elite have heard so much noise that they decide to take their own vehicle and ready for a fight.
Oh my god, here comes the fight. FX Elite, it's Arijit who gets the first blood, but Anbu instantly trades him, and now it's a 3v3 again. Sham bleeds out, so they cannot get the res onto him, but Cyber narrowly dodges death at the hands of Anbu over there. And now once again, Autobots are in a lot of trouble because they're taking on two teams at once. Anbu Jr. is just trying to stay alive, hoping that FX Elite don't focus on him because his teammates are dying at the hands of iQOO Total Gaming. This could have been a potential fourth party scenario over here, but iQOO Total Gaming don't have all the information, so they don't know which compound to rush first. Naturally, they would like to rush the weaker team and get that elimination point in their name, but FX Elite is the ever-looming constant threat on the horizon, and Anbu cannot make it across. Wait, that kill was stolen away by Mafia. Total Gaming stole that away from FX Elite. And once again, Total Gaming, daylight robbery over here as they steal that point. And now they're aiming for FX Elite themselves, Lucifer.
FX Elite, they might have gotten the booyah in the previous game, but right now they're facing the giants of the lobby. If they take them down, and that will prove them ready for the next ongoing game. And look at this hit list already being used. So iQOO Total Gaming, they know where Arjit is going to be, and they're slowly closing the distance. Mafia, he's already holding the position with his VS, making sure they do not get closer or do not try to run away. I really like his angle, and now FX Elite are stuck. Nice nade being tossed, and now they're closing the gap. There is no chance for FX Elite to even survive or run away. Riptide Rhythm being also used from Mafia, and that gives their position, their glue walls all out. Shanky, he's taken the first dip. On the other end, Mafia gets spotted by Raichu. Now it's all left to the hands of the players who are ready and fighting. Delete and Shanky as Aztec gets taken down. It's up to Cyber, the MVP, but he also cannot do anything as Delete puts him down and confirms the elimination. iQOO Total Gaming with total of 8 as they put FX Elite out.
FX Elite, my goodness, after experiencing the highest possible highs in the previous game, they are now finding themselves in the dumpster, trying to run away from that spot as much as possible. Yes, the opportunity for them to revive is still there, but they've already conceded these frags to iQOO Total Gaming, who have proven once again why they are the boss. The script has been put to a full stop, and that's the end of that story.
However, they still have one player, Crips, who somehow survived, and therefore FX Elite a story to start writing again. But this time, Skull, they have again the same number of eliminations they had in the previous game. Nexterra won, and they're trying to look forward to more information. This time playing better, they survived for even longer. Bhima Sakti Strip is where they're right now, and they're trying to search to see if there are going to be any players as they are uniting. 3 players and 1 were in 2 different directions. Eventually will be getting closer. They're all inside the circle, not much to be worried about, but for Arise, they're still outside the circle. We did see them having a fight, lose the number of players, then they had to revive them, and therefore they're still holding it out. On the other end, iQOO Total Gaming still looking forward to see if they could find another elimination. I think they've activated another hit list, and that's gone towards Atomic, and that is the reason we see the red spots, and they are traveling the entire Sentosa to figure out where those players are. And we know iQOO Total Gaming, once they have information, they're going to look forward to eliminations. But in that while, Raichu, the player who found a knock on Mafia, I think even an elimination, he's the last one surviving. Can he do something? It seems like iQOO Total Gaming have found his position, sniffed him out, and eventually should also be put to rest.
So while iQOO Total Gaming just run and chase down a helpless little straggler, they will put FX Elite to their end. Oh my god. That's the duality of the Free Fire Max India Cup, ladies and gentlemen. One moment you're riding high and getting booyahs, and the next game you are out in the very first spot.
That's going to hurt for FX Elite, to be honest, Crips. If that happened so quickly in the start of this game, with them barely getting any amount of eliminations, and that too that they were surprised against the team that they were ready to eliminate. But for now, we did even see IQESPORTS controlling their position, trying to get eliminations, and same goes for Johan from Arise. What a shot that was! Unfortunately, it was not an instant knock. If it was, maybe they could have decided to go for a rush against Skull, but instantly they decide to travel in the other direction. The call's been made. They move away in the other direction. They do not want to go for an head-on onslaught. Skull, in the meantime, they decide to take a hit list to kind of see if they'll get information about which team or who is close to them. But it ends up going to another team that's going to be Emz. And that's the information they'll have for the time being.
Assassin Army, meanwhile, sitting pretty in Bhima Shakti Strip. they have EMZ around them, but I don't think they're going to go out of their way to hunt down the members of EMZ. Similarly, the teams that we saw before are just starting to make their way from outside the zone towards the inner circle of Catalystva. So you've got Emz Esports, who have a pretty decent path into the circle. I don't think Skull Esports will be able to gatekeep them even if they wanted to. EMZ, on the other hand, have the L-shaped house and the cell phone tower hill under their control, so they should be able to keep tabs on the valley over here, as well as take a peek at anyone who's climbing the top of the hill. That would be Assassin Army. That's the team that they're going to be keeping their eyes on. Meanwhile, can Emz Esports be gatekept by Uneven? I don't think so. I think they should be safe for now. I don't think TW-ESPORTS will leave their spot and go hunt anyone. Drone deployed by one of the teams over here. I do believe that it was deployed by EMZ because they've sent it in the other direction of the hill. They already know where Assassin Army are, so they don't need any new information on that particular side of the map.
It's only making sure that their backlines are clear and they do get information about the Knights. It's a little too far in terms of where it's going, and the fight also for EMZ because they already have a cluster right in front of them. But for now, I do like the split that we end up seeing from Skull. Arise were right behind them and they're still behind them. I thought maybe Arise are going to go for a longer rotation, but fearing that the circle is still big enough for teams to be outside the zone, they do not. They're playing at the edge of the zone, trying to see if they could find an opening, but for the time being, the only opening that they need to do is going to be their own. They need to find a knock. On the other end, keeping themselves out on the biggest rotations, as we can see, Team TAMILAS taking their own time, and now they've reached the mill. Vending machine, it seems like Konsu is going in to make sure he grabs a little more of upgrades, a couple more maybe glue walls or whatever he can get to make sure they're ready as they move in back into the fight, because Team TAMILAS almost looked like they could have had a lot more in terms of a fight going in their direction. It didn't. But going right now, a knock is going to be for TW as they spot AUTOBOTZ, and AUTOBOTZ somehow they got out of Cape Town but are still under pressure by bullets.
Yeah, and AUTOBOTZ did not even want to fight against TW-ESPORTS. They wanted to get in towards Peak, and now iQOO Total Gaming doesn't want them to come over here. In fact, iQOO Total Gaming had a lovely little rotation over here. They came in from Cape Town, and then they used the mini launch pad to get themselves straight up on the top of this mansion house of Peak. And if anybody wants to land over here on the high ground, they will either have to be recalled and just drop straight from the sky, or they will have to use one of the bigger launch pads and then get over here. Oh my god, Team TAMILAS, they use the launch pad, but they land straight into the arms of Emz Esports. Will this be a safe rotation? It seems like it for now. Nobody seems to be shooting at them, so maybe Team TAMILAS have just gotten away with this one. But the moment I say that, Yogesh starts getting killed, poor Kaushik even gets taken down by Taigo. But revives are possible. It's not the end of the world just yet, but they will have to expend a lot of their glue walls to stay alive over here, Lucifer.
They did lose a player already to Arise, and now they have another trouble. That's going to be TW, and it seems like they're going to let Kaushik bleed out. And that's going to be Mafia picking that elimination on top of the Peak House, as you spoke about, and Script also going down. And that's going to be from another team. Team TAMILAS have been picked apart from 3 different teams. Their eliminations confirmed, and Yogesh is the last man standing. However, the troubles for Arise are not yet done. They spot another player from AUTOBOTZ, Anbu, out in the open. He runs, takes the shot coming in the VSK, but eventually puts up the glue wall, has a tree for the time being, activating the chrono shield, but for how long he's going to survive, his information is known. Maybe this zone that's moving gives him an opportunity to move, but it seems like it's not going to happen, as Mafia and the whole squad of iQOO Total Gaming, they have control of the compound, Riptide Rhythm being used, and TW make their run as Arise are in big deep trouble, as Johan and Prodigy are the last 2 survivors.
Yeah, the glue walls won't really help them because Mafia's got that Moko equipped, so he can shoot you through that. So they have to use their chrono shields, but even that won't help them out for too long because there's a bolt maker right on top of them. And if that's not enough, now you've got TW-ESPORTS knocking on the doors, or rather knocking on the glue walls, hoping to find this door and kick it down. But they must have bitten off a bit more than they could chew, because TW-ESPORTS lose almost all of their players, and now Beast has to go outside the zone just so that nobody will chase him.
It's going to be tough for him. It looked like maybe TW would have had the opportunity, but they kept pushing so much, trying to destroy the glue walls, that their team is left with the last survivor, trying to get away with that mini launch pad, but they're going to try and search him out and eventually put his Last survivor down, and that is going to be an elimination coming through and a team wipe on TW-ESPORTS. Unfortunate, and however, in that clash, Arise still managed to survive. So Arise still have a long way to go. They will still have an opportunity to keep the fight ongoing, but iQOO Total Gaming decide it's time to get off the roof because the circles moved in the other direction. And on the other end, moving in the other direction is going to be Atomic as they eliminate Emz.
But while they were on the top of that roof, iQOO Total Gaming have got 12 eliminations and they've cleared the pathway for them as they approach the edge of the peak compounds now. Now they're taking care of IQESPORTS, who are just coming out of the mansion. They can either dip into the maze area where AES are already waiting for them, or they can face iQOO Total Gaming head on. The Nano plushie tickles away at Brand. Electrotherapy already started to heal him back up, but iQOO Total Gaming are chasing them to the edge of the zone, hoping to push them to their limits. Yogesh has to stay alive over here because he's the silent spectator. He takes a little bit of damage, but iQOO Total Gaming don't know that that's a different player. They just think it's a 4v4 battle. They don't know that Yogesh is hiding in between all of this.
But there was also Anbu, and eventually they managed to eliminate him, and that is going to be AUTOBOTZ out of the game. iQOO Total Gaming now fighting with iQOO, and iQOO were the team who eliminated iQOO Total Gaming. Boltmaker used lightning, called a pawn, and now Shanky has a landmine. He's trying to put out a pawn, making sure if they're going for a rush, they get taken down, and that's going to be a very smart move. But on the other end, Knights, they managed to eliminate Atomic Esports, clearing a lot more space while these two teams figure things out. Niroplishi again being used, but it goes the distance in the other direction. However, Shanky, he finds an opening, causing trouble for the likes of IQESPORTS. And on top of that, Team TAMILAS, Yogesh, as you did speak about him, he's trying to cause concern of his own, even though he's the last survivor. And now amongst the players of iQOO, he helps them out with the launcher, and he manages to help the side of Total Gaming to eliminate the entire squad. And eventually, he gets swept out, and iQOO Total Gaming have a total of 18 eliminations, and they're looking unstoppable once again.
Mafia should be able to get back up on his feet without any problems. The plushie gets destroyed as well, and in the process of destroying the plushie, Mafia also takes off Max's head. Max gets revived yet again, but he can't be healed up fully before iQOO Total Gaming start knocking on the doors. Delete leads the charge, but he gets shot from the back. It's Satya FF that manages to take down Delete and even eliminate him fully. And now the remaining members of iQOO Total Gaming have to take measured steps as they rush this team off the Knights. 3 versus 4. You're going up against the 2025 champions. Can the underdogs come out on top? Because you got Shanky diving straight inside, but Aztec from afar using that Groza to take Satya down will be of no use because Satya gets revived instantly. That's the power of the Tiva. Mafia once again locks horns with Vedant, but Vedant pumps his guts full with that M590. It's Aztec who's now running and hoping to isolate these fights against Vedant and Jaksham. But Max has him cornered, and they are surrounding Aztec. They've taken down the champions, and the Knights have claimed a glorious head to take this booyah for themselves. What a way to win the game. Why not take down the best team in the lobby and prove your worth?
Challengers we have here in TEZ FFMIC 2026 Spring, and what a start. As we said, every team is ready to prove themselves as the best, and this time it's going to be the Knights on Bermuda challenging almost the reigning champions and even stealing this booyah away from them. The way they fought, denied Shanky from getting closer and even finding a knock because Delete was already put down. Then Mafia comes and tries to save the day, and he gets eliminated, and that's where Aztec, the last one surviving, tried his best as long as possible to try and push the likes of the Knights, but it was a 1v4 that was so tough. And look at this once again, Aztec, he did try to find a knock, it did come through, but it was not enough to keep that ongoing. As Shanky went down, Mafia ran in to save the day to see if there is a possibility as Aztec moved in for a revive, and both of that didn't happen, and eventually Aztec was surrounded and overwhelmed by the forces of the Knights, and the Knights are going to be adorned with a booyah.
Yeah, but even with the booyah, Knights are not anywhere close to the top. You've got iQOO Total Gaming as well as Arise Esports above them, because nobody else in the lobby has more than 10 eliminations. iQOO Total Gaming at 19. You've got Arise at 14 eliminations, 21 points in total. And then after that, everybody has less than 6 eliminations, or rather 8 eliminations if you consider the Assassin Army. Nobody reaching double digits in that department.
This was, to be honest, a little bit of a low-scoring game coming in from teams because, hey, I think you have to give credits to iQOO Total Gaming. In the previous game, they got a total of 13 eliminations, and that was in the very early game, around 10 minutes, 15 minutes of the game, and they were eventually put out. But here, they got to survive for a longest amount of time. They get more amount of placement points, and on top of it, they do get the total of 19 eliminations. Arise, good game coming in from their end as well of how they survived against TW, and even they managed to eliminate a couple of players from AUTOBOTZ, push the players of Atomic aside, all of that happening. But on the other end, surprised to see FX Elite go down super early, but they were surprised. So yeah, that happened. But Skull, we were talking about them. They do get more amount of points compared to what they did in the previous one, but still, in such a low scoring game here in Bermuda, there's a lot of concern, but no concerns for the Knights. Yes, they did get a booyah, they did get points, so that should help them be in the top 9. And the man who was on top of the game was Vedant, getting 3 eliminations, dashing, making sure the Oscar is going to be the character who denies the glue walls which were put across by the side of iQOO Total Gaming, denying them any opportunity, and even the reload speed coming through with Nikita. All of this together coming through for Vedant helped them find those 3 eliminations. As you can see, damage is not a lot. His teammates were doing it. His only thing was making sure he picks it up as soon as the players are put down.
Yeah, and because he got the knock onto Shanky and forced Aztec to come in and res him in that crucial moment, it bought his team so much time to heal themselves up and be fully ready to fight Total Gaming in the end. And it's that crucial knock, it's that impact frag that he was able to get onto Shanky which changed the tide of that battle. Let's take a look at the overall stats for everybody, and as you can see, there's 2 players using Tiva, which is why they were able to get Satya back up on his feet immediately after this went down. That was a very fast revival.
Now, these kind of situations are the reason why players are going to be playing in terms of their unique active skill plus on top of the passives. And you can see Joseph being used a lot, making sure that in terms of if there is a silencing or any effects that happen based on the opponents being used, they deny that, and that is the advantage of having Joseph on your passive. And look at that, majority of their players have Joseph along with Nikita, again making sure that they have enough reloading speed. Even their healer coming in, Satya, has Nikita coming through along with Alvaro, and Nero I think was one character that we ended up seeing come in the last patch, and has been a usual, he's been a norm that everybody plays to. Now let's come to the numbers of where these players were able to deal a lot in terms of damage, pick up eliminations, and it has to go to Satya. As you can see, he's the one with the highest amount of damage at 1200, coming through with 2 knockouts and 2 assists that he is given. The next is going to be Saksham at 2 knockouts and 908 damage coming through. Therefore, as you can see, the rushers were kind of exchanging within themselves in terms of, hey, you do the initial damage or help me with the assist and I'll be picking up the elimination. So therefore you can see 1 assist on Vedant and 1 elimination on Max, 3 eliminations on Vedant and 3 assists coming in from Max. So they played their front line really well, rushing onto the opponent's faces.
Yeah, I mean, even the back line was not that far away from the front line, you know. I mean, they don't have a dedicated sniper. They don't have any one guy who's using Maro and Moko along with any other 4th character which will help you with long range engagements. They've basically geared up their entire team to be very good in the close to mid range. I mean, no sniper. They have a dedicated rusher and they have a assaulter for that matter. But at the end of the second game, Total Gaming, they have proven why they are the reigning champions, as they, without any doubt, are able to get the first spot. I mean, we didn't really expect anything else, right? I expected them to be on top. I'm not surprised by that. But what I am surprised by is the fact that Emz Esports have been able to garner 23 eliminations and get themselves at 36. They don't have a single booyah, but they're still ahead of most of the other teams. And FX Elite, what do I even say, man? They had 29 points in the first game itself, and then after that they just went down without even swinging anything. So if they had even a decent game in the second one, not even a good game, even if they had a half decent game, they would have been somewhere in the top 3 instead of being on the 5th spot. You wouldn't expect a team with a booyah to be on the 5th spot.
True, but again, I think this is every team going they're all out from the very start. Every team going in to figure out their eliminations, and in terms of that, iQOO Total Gaming became an obstacle for FX Elite, at least in game number 2. Therefore, there's still more number of games, not much to be worried about, but teams to worry is going to be towards the bottom 3. There's going to be Atomic, Esports, Emz and Skull, and major amount of worry is going to be in Skull's department because they are still on single digit. And this is one of the reasons why I said Bermuda was a tad bit of a low scoring game, because when we did look at Nexterra, almost around till the 5 or 6 teams we ended up seeing double digits, because every team in that early clash that they had picked up eliminations, which helped them to accumulate it to a total of double digits at the first game itself. But then you end up seeing Skull Esports in 2 consecutive games having only single digit in total, and you can see they're sitting at 12. They need to have a very big game if they want to cope up in terms of a jump, otherwise it is going to get even tougher, as now games have actually started in their full-fledged form. They've literally fueled the fire, and from here on, if Skull don't do the same thing, their tanks are going to run on empty, and they're going to be the very first one, even through the halfway mark, to kind of get an idea that they might be the first few out of FFMIC.
Yeah, and you wouldn't want your first day in your in the FFMIC to be the last one, right? Skull Esports had to toil away, they had to work really hard and then just claw their way up from the FFC mode into this group stage. And they didn't come here just to play one day. They really need to buckle up their shoes, strap on their socks tight, and just get out of the bottom 3. You don't even have to outscore everybody. Just don't be in the bottom 3. Get in the top 9, and that's the objective for today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the game number 3. We are approaching the halfway mark of the day. Without further ado, let's take a look at the predicted drop spots. Obviously, a lot of these teams will change and deviate from what they claim their drop spots to be. For example, Total Gaming completely bamboozled me. They said that they'll go to Bhima Sakti and they went to Mill, which I should have seen coming. I knew that they like hot dropping Mill. So yeah, it's on me for not recognizing their lie, for not recognizing their bluff. This time as well, Total Gaming claimed that they're going to TV Tower, but then even 4 other teams do the same. So are they actually going to go there? We will find out in like a minute or so.
If that happens, I can see trouble already for 2 teams. That's going to be EMZ as well as Skull. If both those 2 teams land against iQOO Total Gaming and FX Elite, while FX Elite, they have something that they want to change in this game. And I'm pretty sure this drop will change for them. But however, for iQOO Total Gaming, if any team is in close counterparts towards their compounds, they're going to be able to easily clean them up. You imagine Total Gaming jumping and figuring out where the last player from FX Elite was and even eliminating him, not allowing anybody to survive. Raichu tried his best with longest time. Going to Eco Drain, we see it's going to be TW and a Rise, and all the way towards the north at the top Riders Club, we end up seeing AUTOBOTZ as well as Atomic Esports. That's the most amount of clash that we see on the predicted drop spots that we should be able to see. But we know, as this is the new update, we end up seeing a lot more early fights happening. The feed just running away from us. A lot of teams even getting their revives back up, so not much to be worried about in that early game. But however, if you do not get a chance at all, you do not get to play out enough, and the 3-minute time is also done, then you have no way to go. You have to find a vending machine or a revival point, something or the other, to get your teammates back up, and that's what happened to FX Elite. The time was long gone and they couldn't get their players back up. But with that, Solara is the next game, Crips. And let's take a look at our predictions. Let's see what mark we set right now.
I mean, Solara has always been one of those maps where teams decided to fight very aggressively. It's super easy to third party on any fight because of the zip rails, and that's exactly why I've picked up the teams with the most amount of firepower over here. iQOO Total Gaming, I think I've put them on the #1 spot for all 3 of my map predictions. So that's me not taking a risk, because I'm being a little bit of a basic caster today. I have no shame in admitting that. But I've picked up AUTOBOTZ and Assassin Army because I believe in their firepower. And even if they don't win the Booyahs, I think they're going to have a breakout game and get like at least 20 points out of this one.
See, I've gone in for the same thing. I think it's about being a lot more safer than being sorry later, and that's the reason even my picks are very same to what you've done. It's the same 3 teams in just a different order. But I think AUTOBOTZ, one of the reasons that we have AUTOBOTZ almost very consistently is because of the performance that we know by those 3 lads. Even though there's 2 new inputs that they've had, it's just, I think, them trying to run around circles and not able to meet the mark that they want to. Their early fight, as we saw a lot, I think it was with Atomic, yes, they chased them out almost, but then FX Elite surprised. By the time FX Elite were about to set their foot in, iQOO Total Gaming came in from another direction, and AUTOBOTZ, by the time they could get their players back up, did not work out. However, I'm a little surprised. We've been, I think, at least for the last 2 games, picking Assassin's Army's name, but we've not seen their late game coming through, to be honest. It's been early games, we've seen their name in the feed, they've been getting eliminations, and that's one of the reasons they're in the top 9. But however, it's very easy to push you out, and I think Assassin's Army, knowing the capability that they have, should start coping up, because that's something that we see and we expect from a squad like that, and they've shown us, to be honest, and that's one of the reasons we are kind of banking on it. And I think our other set of casters is going to be coming on the second half. That's going to be Arka and Azora. Might change their prediction based on this first 3 games that we are seeing right as of now. So it's a little surprising, but hey, that's the part and parcel of the game, even for us and as you guys on the viewers side, to enjoy to its best. And for sure, it has been a fantastic start, Scripps, to see FX Elite as well as the Knights to come out in such a fashion. Knights did not play the very early fighting game, they played the survivors game, got their booyah. FX Elite went all out, got their chance of an opening, got their booyah. And who gets it next?
Yeah, that's going to be the big question, right? Because Solara generally is the most aggressive map of Free Fire Max India, and this has been the case since last year. Now that the teams are encouraged to fight more often because of the early respawn rule, they have absolutely nothing holding them back, which is why I think this is going to be a very elimination heavy game. I would not be surprised if a team manages to drop 20 eliminations and get like 9 or 12 points with placements. I mean, if there is one map where we get to see a 30 bomb, it has to be this one.
Yeah, I agree. I think the want within us, right, to look forward to something like that kinds of increases over time, especially after seeing this head start of a game in the first 2. It was incredible, and moving towards Solara, a little bit of a smaller game which pushes you in general closer, should have a heavy elimination heavy fight. And I think that's what I'm looking forward to as we are gearing up for the 12 teams of Group A for Solara, to see if it's going to be a different booyah or somebody else finding their path to Car and start feeling the fire.
We reignited the fire last year, and this time you feel it. You can feel the heat, you can feel the lobby just rising in temperature with every subsequent game. And I want to see if there's any more fire left in these teams who are currently in the bottom 3, because they need to get out of there. Split top coming through from FX Elite as they've sent Arijit towards Aquarium, and he will be split dropping against TW, who are spreading out over the Armory as well as Aquarium. Assassin Army also have a 3-1 split going on. They might just end up sending Mercy in a 1v1 fight against one member from FX Elite, and the battle has already begun. Assassin Army drop first blood as Mercy gets that elimination. Meanwhile, you've got another fight. It's FX Elite who are fighting TW-ESPORTS as well. So this is a split drop for sure. And Assassin Army might just be able to third party on this one. So this is going to be a messy 3-way battle.
It could be, but we spoke about Assassin's Army. They need to start picking up pace, getting eliminations, and so far they've started, but TW, they've fared better in the fights, and therefore Assassin's Army, they have to be a lot more strategical going in for this move. One of the players have gone up using the rail, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Oh, it's going to be a 2-man game, and Demon, who thought it's only one player, went for the bait and now went to fall down. And that's going to be an elimination that Assassin's Army is going to be happy about. But they've also taken a split approach. That's very nice. And that's going to be a smart move. Pick how much ever you can and waste time and eventually move in the other direction, but that might not be the same case for EMZ, because Arise as a whole have jumped upon them, and even Arise get total of 3, and they're in their search for the next set of players. And Mr. Ani, I think, will be spotted very soon and also put to rest. And with Ani going down, that's going to be a full team wipe on Emz Esports, and their chances of qualification are getting dire, one game after another.
I mean, I don't know if EMZ went for that split drop, but FXLE definitely did. And even with the split drop, they got eliminated. So there's really no insurance policies over here. Oh my god, again? It's iQOO Total Gaming going up against iQOO Esports.
This is the revenge they're taking because of
the
the first game
revenge battle. Like, is it happening because they have similar sounding names? I can assure you that it can't be something as petty as that. Maybe it's coincidence that they end up clashing horns in every game that they have faced each other so far. These two have been the teams that go up hand against each other. And yeah, IQ Total Gaming getting 2 eliminations to their name. But IQ Esports are split, and now they're gonna hunt down Vishal. I think they have a fair
It's
idea of
really
where
nice
he
to
could
see
be.
these new updates.
Yeah, I mean, they're camping the vending machine because they know that somebody or the other will come there, and they get the bounty. So now they know where Vishal is.
Tough for IQ Esports. Consecutively 2 times. They were only taking down iQOO Total Gaming once, but right now it's been twice. Mafia missed his opportunity, and that guy took the rail to run. But Aztec said, not gonna happen. Pull out his weapon with the Bison, puts him down, and that is going to be another elimination. But unfortunately, or maybe fortunately for the side of the team, they did not get eliminated completely. IQ Esports did manage to revive their player, so they still have 1 player. But unfortunate for iQOO Total Gaming, they could not get a full team wipe.
Dude, did you see how much money Aztec had over there? He had 4,000 coins. Oh, that's what happens when you get the hit list and you eliminate your target so quickly. Jeez, 4,000 credits. Like, you can buy everything that you want in that one. Armor upgrades, weapon upgrades, launch pads. I mean, at that point, tactical market will have less items than the amount of money you can spend. Anyway, IQ Total Gaming off to their next target. If you take a look at the map, the elimination feed has slowed down a little because all the early fights have ended and 2 teams have been eliminated already. But even the teams who are lacking members will now have plenty of room to revive their fallen members. Unless that team is IQ Esports and Prime is just running away. He did manage to get all 3 of his teammates back up online, but now he's just running helter-skelter. Vishal also can't help him out. Team TAMILAS has his number. The glue wall, will it actually save him? No, it won't. Khonshu finds the knock, finds his head, and Team TAMILAS up at 2.
Team TAMILAS, yes, they've not had great games previously, but they were able to get points. But now they are trying to make sure that if there are players separated individually, we're going to pick them up. Okay, they get the elimination, make them move in the other direction, and this is one of the best parts of Solara is the rotation of how quickly you can move in the other direction. AUTOBOTZ going in, they get the arsenal opened up to better equip themselves for fights later on. But AUTOBOTZ have not fared for a lot of later fights. They've almost fallen down in all of it. In the previous game, they fell down super early. Similar story for the team who's right close to them. That's going to be Skull. And if AUTOBOTZ wait a little longer, they might meet the likes of Skull and have a fight with them. And if that works out, it's going to be AUTOBOTZ picking up a lot of points. But for now, Arise, after eliminating a squad, they want to eliminate another, and Assassin Army are the ones who close to them.
Skull Esports once again in trouble. Prime at the SKS lands a shot onto Rethi, but Rethi instantly retaliates, gets the trade through. Aleem at 1 HP runs away before Prime can get him, but he can't make the escape, and Prime gets the confirmation onto Aleem as well. He's losing teammates. Prodigy goes down, but Assassin Army, they want nothing to do with this one. Meanwhile, while this fight is going on, Skulls versus AUTOBOTZ, you've also got IQ Esports going up against iQOO Total Gaming yet again. This fight just doesn't seem to end at all. But AUTOBOTZ want to put down Skull Esports once again. Can Prime finally make his run across with that little Tuntun Sahur figure? He's trying to get across. He jumps out the window, but he's found. It's a triple takedown for Rethi. And Assassin Army have been eliminated.
Wow, I mean, Assassin's Army, they get eliminated. Unfortunate. This is what we were talking about. They've been getting elimination, but there's not been enough. This time they pick up 6. And yeah, I think top 9 is something they'll still be in. Skull on the other end, run away from AUTOBOTZ, but it seems like Sham, he did find the place where they revived their teammates, and Mehtab, stuck at Archway, wants to take the tracks, but put up a glue wall, and right now he's stuck himself and is nowhere to run because AUTOBOTZ, they've surrounded him. Rethi puts him down, confirms that elimination, and AUTOBOTZ are surging. They have a total of 9 eliminations here on Solara, and they look forward to more if this continues. This time, they look a lot more prepared. We did see, I think Anbu was a little further away from his teammates whenever there was a fight, but now it's a little bit better. It's going and working in their direction. They're playing together as a team.
Oh my god, IQ Total Gaming just do not want to let IQ Esports out of their sights. This is practically cyberbullying. This is like the 3rd time they've engaged them in battle, and this time IQ Esports have a lot more to worry about because even the Knights are targeting them. Sheesh. Talk about being surrounded by two different teams. That's a lot of pressure on Vishal's shoulder because now he has to go away and get his teammates back up online for the third time in the same game. Oh, that's going to be a tough task. Meanwhile, Autobots have been farming up those eliminations. 10 points for them. They almost eliminated Skull Esports. They've got more targets up on their screens. But for the time being, TW-ESPORTS, they are running away. Unfortunately, Vishal will also be found. And this time, IQESPORTS will finally bite the dust early on.
They do get taken down, but for now, TW, they want to take down a squad. Right in front of them is going to be Atomic Esports. He's almost spotted all of the players, but Flex doesn't have enough reinforcements to take this battle head on. And also, the advantage that Atomic have is going to be the hill that they are on. And opening, they still try to do. As of now, it's going to be Team TAMILAS who keep that battle ongoing against Skull. They find after AUTOBOTZ and they're trying to push it further. And Flex waited his time till the very end, and you can see a push being done. And finally, we end up seeing the new character, Morse, coming into play by Flex. And he's trying to get information of where the players from Atomic are, and he's running up the hill. He's going to get closer, but they're still going away in distance. And finally, when he gets closer and spots and takes a shot, Flex is not allowing them to survive. Bit 2, he'll also be swept down to his knees, and that is 2 more eliminations that TW pick up on. What is this play coming in from TWS? Piyush, he's been forced to run away.
Yeah, Piyush has no choice but to save his skin. They never saw that attack coming, and this is Morse being used to its finest abilities. You use it to scout ahead, and the moment you get a chance, rip open and just completely take down your opponents. Amazing stuff, and I want to see more of this character. Meanwhile, IQ Total Gaming, they're done shooting at enemies for now. Now they're just going to loot max themselves and get stocked up for the end game.
Advantage of the ultra airdrop. They get level 4 helmet in West, which doesn't fall below 25% in terms of its durability. That's an advantage if you get control of it, and that's what teams we saw in the very first game and right now as well doing. But for now, what can you take away from iQOO Total Gaming to make sure that you're the ones who are getting better points? Total 7 eliminations as of now. Aztec all alone has 4. His teammate Shanky has 3. And how it would change is a story that we have to yet wait and watch. But for now, Autobots, their entire game that they've had in the first 2 maps has changed a little at least. They had total 9 eliminations. They would try to push it further. Even Team TAMILAS, a little bit of a better outcome that we end up seeing this time, as they did put down the players of Arise, pick up eliminations. Was it? I think so.
They might have done that. But for the time being, Autobots and IQ Total Gaming, while they are somewhat close to each other, I don't guess these teams will start rushing each other unless they have like 2 knocks at the minimum. I mean, keep in mind, Autobots might have had somewhat lackluster games up until now, but this game, Autobots are on fire. Rethi and Anbu with 4 eliminations each. They almost eliminated Skull Esports. They also were responsible for taking out so many members of FX Elite and Assassin Army. These guys are just basically all over the place. And they are actually giving IQ Total Gaming a run for their money in terms of eliminations just in this game. Even Arise Esports, for that matter, have 12 eliminations in this game alone, and they have now climbed up to the 2nd spot in the overall standings. But can Arise Esports keep their ante up, or will they face defeat at the hands of TW-ESPORTS? 3v4 battle. Arise Esports have sent one of their players away as insurance policy, but the rest of them are trying to climb up. So many glue wall melters and freeze bombs. Grenades being poured into that tiny corner. So much shrapnel going in every direction, and Kunal finally blows up on Tygo, and that's their cue to rush inside. It's just Peace left, and he won't be left standing for any longer. TW-ESPORTS get completely wiped out, and that's what happens when all 4 of your players are hunkered down in one spot.
And with that, instantly Arise changed the entire portrayal of the overall standings. They're sitting at the tippity top at total 55 points right now. And that's what we said. Any team can go above that scorecard and call themselves as the leaders at the end of the day, and Arise are doing it. They've got a hang of it, and so do Team TAMILAS as they take down Skull. And yes, it was Skull itself. They have not completely wiped out Skull, and they find them, meet them again, and Team TAMILAS also have pushed their total eliminations to 9, and now they're taking a battle towards the Giants. It's going to be iQOO Total Gaming. They've already taken a bullet as a stray shot, giving a warning, and now iQOO Total Gaming have their eyes set on Team TAMILAS. And Team TAMILAS, using the glue walls, are traveling across, making sure they get closer to the opponents. But is it going to be enough? Because now AUTOBOTZ also have spotted them, get a knock, but thankfully the glue wall, for the time being, will keep them 4 alive.
Team TAMILAS getting peppered by Delete. He's the only one keeping tabs on Team TAMILAS. The rest of Delete's teammates are trying to keep AUTOBOTZ at bay. But luckily, AUTOBOTZ don't need to invade too deep into the zone. So they should be able to get themselves a nice spot on the the eastern edge of the circle and then just stay there. Meanwhile, iQOO Total Gaming are trying to get as close as possible to the center of the circle so that they can keep tabs on everybody. Team TAMILAS are fine for the next few seconds, but they will have to abandon this spot and get into the zone where they will have to go through the ringer against Shanky and Aztec. Boltmaker also activated. Skull Esports are taking pot shots at Arise Esports. I mean, I guess there's only one team who are worse off than Skull, and it is Arise. They are the weaker target. They need to take care of them, but Arise Esports eliminate Atomic Esports instead. Talk about not being able to prioritize your targets enough, but you're still farming up all those eliminations, so they'll be happy nonetheless.
If it asks for a 30, it seems like we could have that. But before that, iQOO Total Gaming, they get rushed upon by Team TAMILAS. They find the knocks, but Delete, he's putting them down one by one, and he has to take down Script now. In the meantime, we did see Kaushik, he'll be getting revived, but instantly Aztec is into the battle with Delete's help. They put the player down, however, it comes down to Kaushik now. He was the player who was revived, and Delete, he puts that player down. It's all up to Yogesh. His teammates are close by, but can he defend himself from Delete? Instantly, Delete backs off. He did have the Bison, but he thought it's better to revive his teammate, have the numbers
Kaushik
better,
is up.
and Kaushik again getting revived. This is just a back and forth battle. A revive and exchange of a knock. Now Aztec, it's all onto him, and the Aztec, he makes sure that iQOO Total Gaming survive, but he's the last survivor.
Meanwhile, Arise Esports locking horns against AUTOBOTZ. This could be the decisive battle over here for these two teams. Mad Dog stuck underneath. Johan tries to go around the other side of this compound, but Mad Dog is hot on his heels. Can they both survive this encounter? Just staying below the compound, hoping that Arise Esports don't drop down. I'm sorry, hoping that AUTOBOTZ don't drop down. AUTOBOTZ, they know that the battle up top has closed and concluded. So they need to find Aztec, but Aztec gets on top of their house instead. Okay, I mean, I guess that's good. That's the only safe spot over here because he would have been in way too much pressure if he stayed near the monster truck. That battle between iQOO Total Gaming and their opponents took way too much away from iQOO Total Gaming, right? I mean, it was practically a 2v4 battle. Yeah. Which turned into a 1v7 because so many revives are coming through. But Aztec finally finds the shot onto Rethi, but doesn't connect. That's an opportunity missed. And now they know where he is. So basically, AUTOBOTZ are sandwiched. Aztec being the bread on top, and then Arise Esports being the bread on bottom. This is not the kind of party you would find yourself in.
They have numbers though. That should maybe help them. And Rethi, who already has an eye on where Aztec is, trying to put him down with Blitz. Nades, all that's possible, but Aztec, he's making a jump of his own. He sees the switcheroo of the zone, takes a cover, goes away, but it doesn't work. Rethi, he had his set eyes, and with the AC-80, he puts him down and comes down to the last two teams. And Arise, they decide to get into the circle, but Rethi, the way he's functioning in this game, he's ready for a lot more. Already having 5 eliminations, the top in terms of his team. Now looking forward to the last 2 survivors from Arise. Johan's position is compromised, but we see not an overeager approach coming in from AUTOBOTZ. They know they have the grasp of this booyah. They do not want to give it away.
Yeah, AUTOBOTZ have done way too much. They've got way too many eliminations in their kitty for them to go down in second spot. Same with Arise Esports. Both these teams have been fighting tooth and nail against everybody in the world. But look at Mad God. He gets jumped upon by both Rethi and Anbu, basically isolating him away from his teammate Johan, who can't do anything to help. But Johan can gatekeep them as the zone pressures them inside. Can Rethi and Sham clutch it out? Johan with a 1v2 on his hands. Sham gets the confirmation onto Mad God. And Rethi doesn't make that transition. The Winchester connects. He gets the confirmation. 1v1. It's Sham versus Johan. Johan has plenty of time to heal. Sham tries to deny him that opportunity by closing in the distance, but he has to go around and flick. He cannot do that. Johan pulls off the clutch. Arise Esports in a 2v3 situation. Turn the tides and get the booyah.
What a game coming in from Arise. While they did not have the opportunity or the numbers, they are the ones rising and shining bright. And what a game that we end up seeing coming in from there. And Mad God, you have to give him kudos in a 1v2 situation. Knocked one player and left the next player low on health, and the zone damaged him enough. And instantly, one shot coming in from Johan put him down. Prodigy and Flix along with this team. What a show coming through. And you might recognize a face in this team from Arise is going to be Kunal, a player that we did see earlier and previously. And this is a battle that we saw towards the very end. And almost, I think we are at the 30 that you did speak about, Crips, because Arise were already sitting at a total of 18 eliminations way long back. And their total sum up could push further. They're at 19 as I see right as of now. And what a brilliant game that they did bring about. Sham tried his best with both the weapons that he had, picking out the bomb and the VS now and then. But this is the weapon that you need when it's close range. And that M590 striked and hard was it the booyah.
22 eliminations. We've seen the 30 bomb. Finally, the first 30 bomb of the day, and it comes from a completely unlikely contender. It comes through from Arise Esports, who were trapped towards the bottom of that hill. AUTOBOTZ really thought they had that in the bag, man, because they had the numbers advantage, they had the terrain advantage, and they were also able to snipe away the last member of Total Gaming, which should have put them in the best possible position to get the booyah. But Johan gets that clutch, and Arise Esports walk away with a booyah and a massive 34-point game. But credit where it's due, man. AUTOBOTZ Esports 17 eliminations. That is definitely worthy of respect. 26 points for them. Team TAMILAS might have gone down early, but they went down swinging, and they are tied up with iQOO Total Gaming at 19 points apiece. Skull Esports finally having a bit of a resurgence. Maybe this game could take them out of the bottom 3, but they still have a long way to go.
This game, to be honest, was brilliant, Crips. To the very end of it, what we witnessed, that every team who were looking like they were not performing at their best or had a lot more in terms of expectation, they did. And so did Johan. And what a game coming in from his end. And the right weapons to have. His opponent had the snipers. He had a shotgun ready. 9 total eliminations, supporting Mad God over there. If Johan was not there and that split did not happen, maybe Arise's chances looked even more bleak. But look at the amount of total damage that he has. 3,454. I think that's going to be the highest that we end up seeing today on day 1 of week 1. And this is what Feel the Fire means. Truly what Arise just brought us.
Yeah, I mean, we are seeing a lot more Zane in action as well. Normally, we used to see Zane only in the Clash Squad mode. People wouldn't really pick him up for BR, but now it seems like they are prioritizing those individual heroics more. And why wouldn't they, right? If Johan can pull off those heroics and clutch the game for his team, that is definitely a good character in his hands. He's also got Joseph and Nikita as well as Antonio. So a lot of sustainability for this guy. But you've still got a rather orthodox lineup, because you've got Prodigy using the Skylar along with the typical Maro Moko sniper setup. You've also got Mad God using Oscar, Joseph and Antonio. That is paired up with the team booster to help himself sustain, even though he's, more of an individual rusher. And Kunal, of course, with the Beast and Malo and Chrono being the perfect support. A very standard ability composition, except for that Zane over there.
Yeah, but I think also even having Antonio, and especially it was the last two survivors, Johan as well as Mad God, gave them that extra 20 in terms of shield points, which was enough for them to even take the damage coming in from the opponent and also give it back. And one of the reasons they did manage to survive with both the play zone damage and the shots being taken. But let's talk a lot more about the team as well. Kunal, the player that we spoke about, a familiar face from Jaunty Gaming in the last FFMIC 2025 that we see, is right now with this squad with a total of 5 eliminations, 5 assists and 4 knockouts and 1,800 damage coming through. Prodigy, he has 2 eliminations, 3 knockouts and 1 assist and 1,300 damage. And Mad God, just like we spoke about Johan, he's also sitting at a north of 3,116 with 6 eliminations, 6 assists and 6 knockouts. He hit a hat trick over here.
Yeah, a hat trick indeed. 666. I mean, 3000 damage is amazing, man, especially when you're up against big names like AUTOBOTZ and Total Gaming. This is no small feat. So, massive kudos to Emz Esports, as they have now probably overtaken IQ Total Gaming on the overall standings as well. We'll take a look at those stats when they finally come up on the screen after the next game. But I have to give credit where it's due. Emz Esports really did surprise me. I did not chalk them up to be the winners of this game.
Honestly, I agree with you. I think to see this kind of a game coming in from Emz, and especially a total of 34 points, we could have expected this coming in from iQOO Total Gaming. We did kind of think maybe AUTOBOTZ getting closer because this game was so spectacular at their end. However, Emz, the way they managed to play that fight out when the advantage team on top with the numbers, even though they took down Aztec as well, making sure that they had nothing to be worried about. Numbers, everything going in their favor, and Emz, they did not panic. That tells you that it's about time that these new challengers who are gearing up to get towards the finals are now knowing what the true strengths of the opponents are and what they can do in a lobby as such, and they did, justifying what they are here for. They did fuel the fire here as well, and I'm ready to see what they can do more, because this is TEZ FFMIC 2026 Spring, but we are done with 3 games. That's the halfway mark. It's time for a quick break, and to set the game aside, we'll have Arka and Azora joining in after this break.
I'm a problem when I'm on top like this. This my designer flow. Ay, gotta keep my fur coat close, cause I'm a boss and I'm way too close. I don't really wanna come ask me why I gotta act like this. Tell them that my pocket too swollen, they already know I'm a flex with a bag like this. Like, I'm at the top and that's literal. I'm making money, it's digital. They watch how I step in, it's pivotal. They wanna be me, it's pitiful. I cannot be no one else and I'm flexing, I'm glad to be me. There's no angle they can come for me, boy, I'm 0 degrees. Wait, you can't manage this, can't break this, boy, I'm funded. Gotta keep my distance when you now 100, Don't the same ones say they loyal, they funny, You can't match my energy, and yeah, you know it, Way too cold, yeah, man, I'm way too cold, Way too cold, yeah, man, I'm way too cold, Way too cold, yeah, man, I'm way too cold, Yes, I meant it, yeah, man, I'm way too cold, Yeah, I'm killing it, I'm the realest. Ain't gotta say, gotta know you feel it. My flow got a cold, sick as the illest. I know that I'm great and they about to witness me going in. I went way up, about to go again. You see me on the telly, then you tell a friend. Cause you know I'm about to rain, it'll never end. Cause I got big dreams, big goals, never settle, gotta keep them going now. You say you got it in that Red Bull, I got the wings and I ain't coming down. No. I keep it straight, every line is so intentional. This is your moment to let it go. You know that I'm into them way too cold. You can't manage this, can't break this, boy, I'm funded. Gotta keep my distance when you now 100, Don't the same ones say
After a 34-point bomber, it's good for us to say that Arise have risen for the occasion. But for now, on the desk is going to be me, Arka. With me is going to be Ozora. And Ozora, the first half of the day was so spectacular that every single team out there are almost giving their 100%. I do agree that there are several well-known teams at the bottom of the table, but I have a strong feeling that they're going to bounce back in the second half.
You know, the kind of feeling that you already have, I am just going through that right now. Nervous 99s for all the teams who are even at the top tier. I mean, the way the underdogs is just showcasing how well they can go ahead and demolish such good niche strategies is insane. So I'm so excited for this one, man.
I somewhere felt that, Total Gaming might break the barrier, might break through their previous record, and probably they'll be the, leading the charts throughout the day. But somewhere after seeing Rise, my hopes are now, turning high for the rest of the teams as well. When the predictions do come out, then we'll realize as to why we are saying this sentence, because I kind of changed it in that break, because before which I had all the fan favorite teams out there, and suddenly after looking at the performance of the undergods, I somewhere feel that this time we might have a new champion altogether.
Well, I'm just hoping for such gameplays to keep occurring again and again, because most of them who are there on the tippy top, they have already reached towards a specific spot. Now it's a time for them to look at the mirror and notice the kind of changes that have already been incurred in the recent meta changes. So those are the places where I would love to see how teams can go ahead and set their foot in. But talking about the preferred drop spots, I love the way the versatility is showcased here. Total Gaming, I believe, now that they don't have the arch nemesis, which is God's Reign, they're not going to be heading towards Crossroads. But if they do, then it's a really good spot, as most of them are not even there. Every single one of them heading towards Marble Work, Mount Villa. They're even heading towards Lumber Mill and Brasilia. These are the places where we can see a hot zone. But other than that, there's Moat House, which is completely uncontested, and IQ, they are planning to head there.
I hope so. At the same time, the eastern side of the map completely empty. It's a bit of a shocker for me, because Ski Lodge is one of those places you have ample amount of loot for the rest of the teams. But I do understand that the meta is forcing teams to, kind of group up at certain parts of the map, because eventually you have that 180 seconds, right? You will be able to come back for a revival and make sure that your team have enough number of elimination points from the get-go. So I do believe that, there are going to be some teams who might not be able to convert those knocks to eliminations, but I somewhere feel that, those who will be able to do so will again lead the charge by the end of this map.
And that's the kind of hope that most of the players are going to be putting on themselves. The kind of enthusiasm that they're already showcased, that's insane. And moving forward, we ourselves have showcased a lot of enthusiasm in terms of picking those teams, the top 3 teams. And chat, you guys can as well go ahead and pick your top 3, and let's see who's gonna win.
Yeah, I think 2 names we have thought similar. One is going to be, Total Gaming as well as AUTOBOTZ. But somewhere I feel Assassin Army, they've been giving their 100%. Yeah, I feel that the controlled aggression is not working out for them. But somewhere in this game, if they're able to crack that code, they might end up in the top 3. And if they're able to do so, the momentum is just going to build up for the rest of the 2 maps.
Team TAMILAS, they have at least been very isolated, and I'm hoping that from here on, the stages, the maps, it's going to give them more room in order to come out of the shell.
Yeah.
And if they don't do that, of course, it's going to be a bad side for them. But overall, the way they have already charged so well, FFC, the way they have played it, they have performed, it's absolutely top-notch. And I would love to see that performance moving forward as well. I believe that it's the pressure about the entire lobby in order to understand them first, and then later on get to know the strategies and then act upon it. So acting upon is one of the things that I'm waiting for them to go ahead and do. So let's see how well they can do it.
Absolutely. Again, you were speaking about Team TAMILAS, right? They're more inclined towards placement points rather than elimination points.
Yes.
And that's why we're able to see that they have the second highest placement points in the lobby. They've got 20 points in total. So probably if they get a hard compound in the final circles of Purgatory, which is kind of hard to find, I believe that Team TAMILAS might walk away with that Boya. But nevertheless, ladies and gentlemen, I do believe it's time for us to fly over this beautiful map of Purgatory, because it's all coming down to the final 3 maps, and I believe the team to walk away with the Booyah is going to start stepping up to be one of the best teams in the top 3.
All right. As we can see, oh my god, skewed flight path. This is beautiful. Most of the teams that they're planning to head all the way towards the northern side, sorry, not today. Brasilia is one of the places where I can see iQOO Total Gaming heading towards, and there's no one to contest that. Are you kidding me? Mount Villa, one of the places where I can see few teams heading towards Gold Force as well, and the others, they've already scattered towards Ski Lodge, and there's an early skirmish, all thanks to the mini Uzi that they have in their hands.
Ooh, look at what happens there. One man flies in the air after being punched. TW-ESPORTS, they had a decent run so far, and now it seems like they're causing a lot of trouble. And on the receiving end of things, there's got to be KS. They've got one elimination, but I do believe that TW-ESPORTS have returned the favor as well. They've got one in their favor. But as far away, I can see that AE, they're coming back to the shenanigans. They've got one in the name. SES as well. They picked up two. You know, where we thought that Purgatory might have a slow start, my friend, I believe that it's a different tale altogether.
See, whenever it's Purgatory, it's all about purging. There's no slow starts here. There's no loose ends. The moment you set foot in the map, now that the game's update has given you a micro Uzi, you just run, take the fight, get a knock or two, and if 4 people are charging towards you with a micro Uzi, you count your days, man. That's one thing that I can see, and that's where Beast 10 himself has taken a huge task of getting those numbers. Even though there's like a loss of 2 members, it doesn't matter. They're going to bring them back again.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, fortune favors the brave over here. That's for sure. Because a lot of these teams who are trying to play it a little bit safe are kind of shying away from fights due to which they might not have enough number of eliminations by the end of this game. But still, I know that slow and steady wins the race. But in a meta like this, I would prefer teams to play a little more aggressive from the get-go. Because they can get revived not once or not twice. N number of times if your teammates have got those coins or the vending machines close by, right? So let's see which among these teams will try to understand that better. But one team which I am kind of shocked to see not showing up in the elimination feed is going to be Total Gaming. By now they would have had 2 or 3, but still now they stay very, very silent.
I mean, I do understand where the concerns are coming from, but I think they're planning for something very mischievous. But these long shots, all of them just being paid right off. Eliminations coming left, back, and center. EMZ, look at them. I do understand the time turner is going to come in, but 2 players bouncing right in front of you. I don't think so you'll be able to tackle that situation. And that's what happens. Rupesh, both of them just combining, joining hands. Aditya, they're just out there, man, getting eliminations after elimination.
Absolutely. I love that. You know, they used a plushie, immediately got the location of that single player, and they're like, you know, nobody's close by. He's a solo man. Let's pounce upon him. And they were rewarded. Now, look at how silent the lobby is going to turn out now, my friend. Because I still feel there are going to be several teams after losing players. They would want to hold on for those 60 seconds until they can bring back their player. And one amongst them is going to be Assassin Army. For somewhere when I felt that they might be able to, you know, come up with something great, I'm able to see that, you know, they are falling short.
Ooh. Mafia? Mafia? What are you up to, Mafia? Your HP is depleting. You need to run away from there, but he wants to get information. He's so sneaky right now. Instant prone, and now he's thinking about running away from the area. That's it. That's a good strategy. That's a good maneuver. As you can see, there's even a hitless being charged right in. EMZ, they're on a no-no zone, and that's where iQOO Total Gaming, they just want to constantly bounce at them as they're the ones who are leading the charts. Oh, not anymore.
I think we spoke too soon, and Total Gaming, as you said, you know, they were plotting, and these slithering snakes slowly are coming closer to their opponents. And I'm 100% sure that they come in from all 4 different directions, and then eventually this give a slow death to their opponents. And this is where Rupesh is going to be using the time turner to make sure he buys some time. But Aztec gets in closer with that shotgun, lands to perfection, gets one, and Shanky says, you know what, take care of this, I'm going for another one. And the hunt begins as Aditya, he'll be trying to do his best for a revival, but he also gets taken down, and in his face came that shotgun as well. Somewhere at a distance, we did see that Aztec was protected.
That's a lovely way to catch him all. And I just love the combination of Nero coming into the picture. This is the best plot. Even I believe Breaking Bad is going to learn from iQOO Total Gaming. Not going to lie about that. Insane maneuvers, knew where the opponents are, put the hit list, charged forward, got those points, and now look at them, second spot.
Needs to be careful because this guy's got enemies on both the directions and he makes it too late to react, and due to which he's gonna get taken down. Johan was like, you know what? I see a lurking rat here. I'm gonna blow his head off. And that's what exactly he does. And at a distance, there's going to be another sneaky person who goes towards the vending machine, revives a player, tries to get into the vehicle, but that's not going to be the case because Kunal comes in from behind, doesn't miss much. And this time, he's going to be rewarded with one elimination.
He's been served with the cheese. Arise. They are going all crazy. Mad God, I see you there, man. Trogon in hand, just constantly demolishing the opponent. And now they're just moving in. They know where Raichu is, and that guy is in deep trouble. Way down in the enemy territories, and one shot or the other is bound to connect. This man falls from the sky, and the bird has been clipped.
Oh my goodness, Mad Dog from one side, but for me, the silent assassin for this team is going to be Kunal 10. Look at that, 4 eliminations already. He's leading the fight from the front, setting an example, making sure that he's been the aggressor and eventually gives that initial damage as well. Whereas at a distance, STS, they lose another player. Assassin Army slowly recover. And on the other side, AE, now they're going to use motorcycles. And that's a different kind of a statement, my friend. Mota Bacha needs to be careful as he's going to be detected, and from a distance, it's going to be Rupesh trying to pepper him down.
That's right. The smallest particle that can exist. Mota Bacha right now just hoping that at least he can get it a frag or two. EMZ on top of the hill. So they already have the height advantage. And Bitu, even though they're fighting the blue, they need to somehow close right in, which is going to be problematic. And Emrani, I do understand he's been taken down for now, but he'll soon be on his feet in order to provide the support for the entire team. EMZ, they need to join forces and take this fight head on, else it's going to be a different story altogether. Mac, lovely placement, but he needs to be the perfect pivotal spot for this particular fight.
Yep, but guess what? He's going to be leaving his location, leaving his position, and that gives so much of an advantage for AE to step forward. The glue wall melter has been tossed in to get complete information of the opponents. As Mota Bacha, he wants to lead the fight, getting forward. Bitu on the other side is going to be shot at from a distance. And Volt, who had gone to revive his teammates, is knocked down near the recall tower, and that could be big concerns. And Imrani, can he do something different over here? I know the retaliation has come through as Bitu and Piyush will be the two men standing. But what else can we expect from this team?
I love the way Mac just moved right in close to the team. He knew that if he's going to be away, then he's going to be caught off guard. It'll be a man count disadvantage for the entire team. So in order to nullify all of that, this fight has been made picture perfect. EMZ, kudos, hats off, and Bitu right in front. This is another free point, which all three of them are working together. The plushie to get the information. Bitu is in deep trouble, and Aditya, so far his HP, it's been depleted to half, but the support that has been provided, that's insane. Grenades coming left, back, and center. Bitu caught in one particular corner, and Aditya, even though he's pressing his foot forward, his HP is just falling down, and Bitu finally, he rests. As Mac, he has done the heavy lifting for this fight. And if this continues, I think EMZ might be the team who can get the booyah in this particular one.
I was pretty impressed with Bitu, to be frank, because the way he was able to hold back his opponents, he did get a graffiti blessings from a distance, and after which everything was crazy until Mac showed us a headshot, and he wants to hit one more as Volt, probably the last man standing for AE, is now trying to run away from this position. Mac, still persistent, trying to get in closer, but the blue zone, it does the damage, and eventually Imrani gets eliminated as well. But EMZ, they need to be careful. They've got healthy 9 eliminations, but prioritizing the circle, making sure that they have a good spot inside the circle, both of which is going to be very important.
That's right. Absolute silence. Oh, wait a second. 2 teams right beside each other? What are they doing? Being so silent, IQ. They need to for sure show some case of a retaliation here, at least to get few points, because their point is looking very weak so far. Not good start. I would for sure want them to end strong, and that's where Skull Esports, they're right in front. 3 points, but for that you need to use your IQ.
Patience game, my friend, patience game. I see a grenade launcher in the hands of Vishal, and he knows exactly where to land it. They need to be careful. The circle as well. It's going to be favoring every single team trying to prioritize this hard compounds and Purgatory. No, every team is going to thank the stars who have got a bit of a compound to work with. Whereas on the other side, we're able to see that Total Gaming, they have a different thought altogether. They go to the open fields, but whereas on the other side, even before I could complete my sentence, it's going to be Methab who has seen that player trying to put them down. Sadly, he doesn't connect anyone.
Ah, that's sad. God in hand, Methab. Dude's looking for some more damage. He wants to be the damage dealer so far. And I completely understand. Once he makes the opponent weak, his following rushers, I gotta just keep moving forward. I've seen Beast do really good when it comes in terms of frontlining assault. And I'm just expecting the similar kind of a gameplay. But look at the amount of information that this sniper is receiving. It's insane. It's massive. And all thanks to the recent update, plushies are no more going to be stuck in a wall or inside a house. It's going to reach to the following destination. And that's where IQ is just maxing out and getting the information of EMZ.
I don't know how well EMZ survived this, because they're trying to step away from the jaws of death, but walking into, into another set of enemies who are just peppering grenade over them. So whoever does the damage, the other one is just going to steal it away with TW-ESPORTS getting eliminated. Armani gets taken down, Rupesh gets taken down, and Vishal is not going to stop. He's got 100 bullets plus, and he's just peppering it down, making sure he gets at least 1 or 2.
Oh boy, M249. Ladies and gentlemen, unlimited bullets. Once you crouch, you can keep spraying down and your aim just keeps getting better. And that's one thing that this team is just so good at. IQ, they were inside the circle. The circle has blessed them a lot in this overall game of Purgatory. And look at the way they have windows as well. Windows of opportunity, which is just giving them all the room and space to get those elimination points. But EMZ, they have somehow stuck by, revived those fallen comrades, and they're back into the picture.
Oh, they need to be careful, because they're playing with a double-edged sword. One side is the zone, and other side is this deadly machine gun being, peppered from Dhruv. Let's not forget his teammate as well is trying to do their best, but Max somehow tries to survive. Rupesh is going to grab all the attention and slowly and steadily using that, Oh my goodness, even before I could complete my sentence, they get eliminated. Not the kind of start they wanted, but a plushie all of a sudden, that means an enemy is approaching this team.
Oh, true that. But FX, they're right outside, close to the bridge. And Team Knight, they need to know this. There's a threat wandering around, and if they do not check their backs, they're good as dead. I can see AUTOBOTZ from afar. They're so far. They need to cross, and this is going to be problematic. The Rip Ride Rhythm, the entertainment CEO is back, and he's just constantly being a big pain for AUTOBOTZ.
Atomic Esports get eliminated. And Total Gaming, their experience is paying off for them. They did not choose that hard compound, but rather they went to the nearest, a little bit of a hard cover, which is kind of paying off for them. But at the same time, SES, they've just let go of their hardest compound, and they're trying to end Total Gaming, which I don't think so is going to be an easy task for them. 2 vehicles drop down, and Aztec needs to be careful. I don't see any kind of grenade launchers coming in, but Delete on the other side starts to sing the songs of death. Delete comes in, puts down Prime as well, and now they're going to be breathing. Just 2 players. It's going to be Aztec and Shanky behind that vehicle, trying to buy some time as Delete and Mafia get eliminated. 16 eliminations so far, stepping out of that zone and making sure that they get some more loot. They need to survive. They need to be careful.
Oh, true that. And look at the way the artificial cover has been provided. One knock would be really good, but that entire place looks so claustrophobic. FX, you need to somehow edit this one part and make it better for you, but they are at the losing end of this. On top, there's the Knights. On the bottom, there is Team iQOO Total Gaming, and both of them are just breathing down on their necks, constantly giving the damage, dishing them out. And now they've been forced to enter towards the circle in such a crunched up space. Oh god, I do not know how they're breathing, but somehow they're making sure that they can do something big with that nade. That's where I was talking about. AC-80 coming to the picture as well. Aztec way too far in the open, and now he pays for his sins.
Oh, not an issue, because he's already done the damage. And
16.
Shanky is like, you know what? My enemy's enemy is my friend. And all I'm gonna do is watch them decimate one another. And that's what he's up to. FX on the other side, FX Elite, they've not seen them being so aggressive in the final circles. They've started to pick up the pace. KS and IQOO. These two big bulls are trying to lock ons, and FX are like, you know what? Let's try when the iron is hot.
Oh, that's right. FX. Good way to at least isolate another player. Prime could not do much there. Brand, Karthik, both of them far away, cannot provide any support whatsoever. 4 people still alive from FX. This is huge. 51% of win rate right now on their heads. I don't see any other way they can mess this thing up. And the circle, it's shifting as well, so that's really good. Shanky, he's running away for his life, and iQOO, they're like, you know what? Let them just take this battle on their own. I do not want to do anything here. And it's Brand who takes Shanky nonetheless. Oh god. Some other team doing the heavy lifting, but it's iQOO just going ahead and raining on the parade.
I can already see FX Elite's name written all over this map, my friend. iQOO Esports, they're just surviving to be the team in the top 2. Karthik and Brand, they're not at all stepping out of their hard covers. Karthik eventually comes in, sees one player, tries to do a bit of a damage, does do hefty amount of damage, puts that player down. And what's happening on the other side? I see a healer, Casey, that healing bond doing everything possible, eventually gets taken down. Brand, he comes in closer, but that's not going to be the case, because the Booyah walks away on the opposite direction, as they've done a phenomenal job in the final few circles. And I believe the slow and steady win the race tag is going to go to this team on our screen, FX Elite. A good one with limited eliminations.
Second Booyah. That's like 24 points in total that they've already earned. FX Elite playing to perfection. I mean, I do understand that they were on the bridge. They were far off from the circle, but the way they just made the entire situation turn around is insane.
Absolutely. Now, I also like the way FX Elite, took that fight. At one point of time, I really thought that hashtag has done the damage. This was that moment where he puts down a player. At this time, if he had fallen back to Shanky, probably the story would have been different. Nonetheless, Avjit saw him, and then after that, the team worked like, a unit together. They were moving forward, making sure they moved along every single direction. Brand putting down one player has kind of turned the fate into the hands of the only team to walk away with this Booyah.
Oh, that shot was phenomenal. And here I could see the way the electrotherapy was working around, but it wasn't enough, man. Against 4 people, 2 of them could not do much. Specifically when it's all thanks to the Cassie healing that the rushers get the kind of confidence to keep moving forward. But in all of that, it is going to be iQOO Total Gaming snatching away the podium, the first position, by getting 16 eliminations and 8 placement points. So I do understand why Shanky was staying alive till the very end. That's amazing efforts coming from his end. But FX Elite, they've been consistent when it comes to the factor of getting booyahs.
I mean, with this, if my math is not wrong, Total Gaming have crossed 50 eliminations within the 4 games they've played. An average of 10 plus shows why they were the champions of the previous, tournament. At the same time, FX Elite, I wasn't expecting them to play this well at the final circles. The Knights as well as Emz. These are the teams who did the talking with their gun. Emz Esports, they had a very good head start with those eliminations. And all of a sudden, I see them get eliminated. I was wondering what actually happened with them.
Oh, yeah. Well, 59 eliminations. Your Matt did math right. Emz Esports trading right behind. They're also performing very well, but in the previous one, there was not much that they could do. The Knights, well, sure, they reached towards the final circles, but eventually they had to fade away. They had good position advantage, but being battered by like two teams at the same time was the issue where they could not keep the eyes on the right price. FX Elite, 6th position, even though they have received 2 booyahs. I would love to see them head all the way on top. The elimination needs to be on point. The placement on the other end is really good. AUTOBOTZ Esports, they've been having a very nice combination of getting eliminations and placement points. But the ones who are super concerning, which is TW-ESPORTS, Assassin Army, Skull Esports, and EMZ. Ouch.
EMZ, the placement points, that lack, the lack of trying to survive until the end, that's kind of causing a big hole in their heart, to be frank, because they need to wake up right now. Skull as well. Whereas on the other side, I'm able to see that Assassin Army, even though they've got enough number of points, they're still going down the table. That's how the other teams are playing this game as well. But Team TAMILAS, they tumbled down. They were in the top 3 before this game, and it's kind of shocking to see them on the 7th spot.
Yeah, Team TAMILAS, well, surprising factor. Even I had chosen them. So thought that they could do something big in the previous one as well, but they could not. But talking about the MVP, let's not take away the light from Avijit. Lovely plays. I enjoyed every single thing. I believe we all thoroughly enjoyed the kind of plays he was bringing in. Oscar, of course, he's a rusher. Nikita, J. Beebs, Joseph, all the passives, which is going to help a lot boost the confidence of this player, is amazing. M590, of course, one of the top picks of all the rushers. And Dreki, well, I just love the pet being implemented in this as well. So instantly he can get the Dragon's Glare, and well, after that, you know the drill, how Avijit keeps rushing forward now.
Absolutely. Now, Dreki, I've not seen many players use this in the new meta, but finally I can understand the gameplay, right? Avijit was told that try to save Dreki until the end, because at the final moments when somebody's trying to heal, it'll be easy for us to detect.
Yeah.
And Nikita has become the new favorites, so is Joseph. Those are the 2 passive characters which I'm able to see every single assaulter has made it a default, just like one of those snipers out there. But Nero being used out here, I think we did see it being used, right?
Oh, yes, for sure. Nero being utilized. Of course, the plushies always are into the mix, because the plushie recently, the kind of buff Nero has received is insane, man. The plushie doesn't stop anywhere. Wherever you point it out, it reaches towards that area. Plus, I do understand that Raichu was a rusher. That's the reason he did not equip Beast On. But imagine equipping Beast On, the kind of range you can throw your plushie towards. And Arvon, amazing pet. Dinoculus being utilized thrice, which is in total 6 times in the entire game. Cyber and Raichu, both of them were providing information, and it was helping them out for a longer run. Wherever the opponents are rushing from, wherever they're rotating from, every single thing was like a bird eye view for them. And Arijit, well, he did win all of our hearts by getting all of those shots spot on towards the opponents as well, making them weak, and then later on the rushers doing the heavy lifting. So this is the entire team who have performed so well from FX. From game number 1 to game number, per se, 4, they have just rocked it.
Yeah, they're slowly rising when it comes to the overall standing as well. But for now, FX, I think this is the most clinical stats I've seen so far. Minimum damage, maximum amount of results rate out of it. Even though the assists go in favor of Arjit, I still feel that Avijit has done most of the damage. Yes, 3 eliminations, 4 knockouts, 4 assists. No wonder he was the MVP. But ultimately, it all comes down to the composure of this team. We have to give kudos to them for that. Trying to survive until the end. Do not get entangled into any unnecessary fights. Wait for that opportunity and then put the opponents down.
See, I do understand the way teams are performing right now. It's a lot of pressure. Of course, you need to get those elimination points checked as well. And that's one of the places where most of them are falling shy. They need to get that confidence. And the recent update, man, I'm going to emphasize a lot on this, because when you get the weapon in your hand, right, you're armed and you're ready. So once you spot an opponent right in front of you, no matter how much damage the micro Uzi does, I mean 9 from a far off angle, you still get the opportunity of damaging someone. So go up close, plus the fire rate, my god, instant pepper down the opponent and get those points. It is going to be easy, and specifically the kind of recall system that has already been implemented, all thanks to the update yet again, it is going to help teams to keep coming back in the early 3 minutes. So that's going to give a lot of room for you to keep getting those elimination points. Rack it up. That's the beginning. Get the confidence, and then later on reach towards the end circle, get the placement points as well. Balance.
Absolutely. I mean, I couldn't have said that better, but I still feel the teams at the bottom of the table have still not cracked this code, because we don't see them having that many eliminations, because the top 4 to 5 teams are the only teams who have got maximum number of eliminations until now.
Yeah. And they're like the top table toppers, right? They're feeding on all the fodder which is at the bottom. So do not be the fodder. Be the feeder. More like the eater.
Your wordplays are getting better. But at the same time, it's important for us to look at the preferred drop stocks of Kalahari. We all know when it comes to Kalahari, there's going to be one name which always shines brighter than the rest. Total Gaming. Getting away from Santa Catrina and getting closer to the refinery towards that command post region. I'm kind of shocked, but at the same time, I like this change because they have not changed the drop location for a long time now. And since they're trying to play it a little more centric to the map, the chances of them getting that booyah or the high grounds at refinery, I think it becomes greater.
Indeed. So the kind of storm we can already see in command post, it's going to be massive. That's the same thing that we saw in the previous game as well. They were very isolated, they were very silent, and later on came the plotting, the planning, and being an absolute villain till the very end and getting 16 eliminations. And I believe that's the same thing that's going to happen in Kalahari, but better. And I'll tell you why better. Because this is one of the places where I can see Mafia just activating himself. It's a sniper's paradise, okay? Second off, the kind of information game that you can gain by just a grappling hook, that's insane.
Now, since you're putting all of this into picture, let's look at the caster's predictions. Let's see whether your predictions stand by it. Or yes, Total Gaming again. Both of us are thinking straight. Probably that's one of the reasons. But at the same time, you know, I like to add in iQOO Esports as well, because they played a decent game recently, so I can expect them to do much more better. And again, we both have a similar thought with Atomic. I would let you, I would ask you why.
Atomic, they're here to prove themselves. And the way they've already qualified from FFC, I just have a lot of hope on them. And these are the final 2 bouts, right? In the final 2 bouts, that's where you start using all of your stamina. You don't store your punches. You're not going to be like, you know what, I'm going to use my hook or my grapple in the next following one. No. You see the opportunity, you bank on it. And that's where I feel that this is going to be that insane match where I will see people floating like a butterfly and stinging like a bee.
I kind of prefer more of the Spider-Man stuff, you know, like just fly in the air, get angles, make sure that, you know, you shoot down your opponents. You know, it's all easy for us to say, but we all know how tough it is for the players to handle that pressure and do well. But at the same time, you know, FX Elite, you have chosen them. They've already proved to us as to why they're one of those predictions who need to bear there in the caster's prediction. In the previous game, they did kind of play a little bit of a controlled game. Do you think that kind of a gameplay can help them do better in the map of Kalahari?
100%. And Kalahari is one of the places where if you can control your aggression, it's going to give you a lot of fruit. But at the same time, there are 2 things that can happen here, Arka. Either you go full-fledged aggressive, like 100% aggressiveness and get those elimination points earlier on, and then later on just not care about the position advantage. Either that or play completely controlled. Get your aggression, but not towards that mark. Get those elimination points and play subtle till the very end. Get the positional advantage, get 12 points, and that's how you can get the 24 point or 24 digit or however you want. 30 bomber can also be dropped in this map. So it's either ways.
Now, let's see whether that's going to be the case. But ladies and gentlemen, please do let us know your predictions in the chat, because we are just a few seconds away from getting into this map. Let me remind you, things are going to get hotter as we enter into the deserty islands of Kalahari. This is one of those maps where we expect teams like Total Gaming to showcase their true powers. And let's see whether that's going to be the case.
I'm hoping for it. I love the flight path. It's going to give a lot of room for all the teams to head towards wherever they want to go. And iQOO Total Gaming, they want to head all the way towards Santa Catrina. Later on, I believe the rotation is going to head all the way towards Command Post. But let's see how well that's going to head towards. And confinement is one of the places where I can see TW. So early fights can happen, but they need to choose those battles wisely.
I'm kind of disappointed now. Total Gaming, I expected them to go towards that command post, but yet they fly back towards the Santa Catrina region. I was expecting a bit of a kerfuffle here and there. But for the first time, especially in this map, I'm unable to see teams fight it out, apart from that of Maze, where we have FX yet again starting things off against AES, who were looking unstoppable until the previous map. Johan is going to go flat on his belly, but still his head's going to be visible. Will Lachi take this shot? Yes, he does. Goes in for a jump shot, misses a lot. Buys time eventually. Avjit needs to be careful, because from the back lines comes back up. And I don't think so it's going to be easy for them to survive this, because it's starting to turn out to be a 2v3.
Oh, my man did not lose his position. He was just flat on his belly for a long time. But unfortunately, even the support did not help him out a lot. One knock already received. An FX, couple of points. Mad God right in front. He's stuck. And he cannot do much here, even though there's one elimination coming through. But the kind of maneuverability that I can see from FX, it's just massive. Wait a second. What? Prodigy? Hello? What are you doing there?
Oh, luckily doesn't have a grenade, or else he would have bombarded the opponents out there. Prodigy trying to get in closer. He knows that the VSS can do a lot of damage. Puts down another player.
Oh, wow.
And eventually falls back. He's going to get in closer with that Uzi, but will be landing with a lot of bravery, down his throat. But ultimately, FX, they've recovered well. I just love this outcome from their side. They had 2 knocks, but still, they preferred going in for a revival rather than taking a fight. It's important for you to have all 4 men standing. A good start, if you ask me.
Eliminate Kunal. That's one thing they've already hired themselves to do. And if they do that, they get extra tokens. And Free Fire coins are going to be so helpful. So many of them using Suzy as their passive. This is insane. The kind of money game all of these players are bringing down towards. It's amazing, man. The Knights, we have seen a slight bit of heroics from here, there, from other maps. And I would expect them to shine here as well. But against Team iQOO Total Gaming, they need to play very smart.
And look at how Total Gaming is rotating in this game. From Santa Catrina to command post, but slowly and steadily. They're just listening to the opponents. They're reading that elimination feed, and they're like, you know what? I feel like this is our chance to fight it out. And look at that lead. Gets in closer. Lands one perfectly. Yet again. This has just become another day at the office for this man. Plushy's out there. Puts that out as well. And max confirmation is just a few seconds away.
But that's beautiful. 3 elimination points. And so far, FX, there's no one who can touch them. There's one player knocked. He soon will be revived. And that's the story of them. The others, Emz, Atomic Esports, TW, Team TAMILAS, iQOO, they need to buckle up, man. There's a lot of radio silence from their end.
Forget about radio silence. I believe that if they stay more silent, they might not even be there in the top 8. And that could be very, very concerning by the end of this map. Because it's just going to bring such a big gap between you and the teams on the top. It's going to be very hard for you to catch up. Ultimately, Assassin Army, they're trying to live up to their name, have gotten very close to comfort, and they're just waiting it out. And guess what? They're being detected now. A very, very good gameplay coming in from the side of iQOO Esports.
Ooh. iQOO. completely silent. Karthik, far off angles. And I can completely understand how he wants to fend that entire area off. The launch pad being utilized. And Brand, I hope he understands the gravity of the situation and soon declutter what's happening right in front of him. But unfortunately, the glue walls is going to give a lot of support. There's one player who's still stuck right here in this corner, and he's doing a lot of damage. That's insane! How is he able to knock 2 players before going down? But finally, the team wakes up. They understand those mistakes, and they launch in a drone as well just to get the additional heals onto themselves.
Oh, I just love this game coming in from the side of iQOO Esports. And now they're chasing Assassin Army, the 2 players, Mercy and Yash. I think they flew a little far away
Vending machine.
from where they predicted they'll have to land because they wanted to come in from 2 different directions to do the attack. But eventually they fell short. Yes, the closest recall tower is where they're trying to head here. But I don't think so. iQOO is going to let them live for a long time. They're still kind of hiding right below their noses.
Look at the Knights.
From the other side comes KS. And due to which, it could be a blessing in disguise for them.
Oh! What? Instant peek and a knock. Okay, that gives a lot of room. Jumps right in to take the fight. And this man is unstoppable. Wanted to feed the knuckle cluster but could not do it. My oh my iQOO. I understand the kahunas on you guys. But unfortunately, it's not going to be it. Brand Karthik, couple of players still alive. And the Knights, they came in with shining armors. And they have taken down the entire cavalry.
I don't think so. It's going to be easy for them after this. Guess what? There have been some assassins not far away. So they would have read the elimination feed. And if they can come in and strike now, they can pick up a frag or 2. As on the other side, Team TAMILAS goes in for a very slow start this time around. Coming in late, TW-ESPORTS left out with 1 player, Flex, who's trying to get away from this position. He knows that he needs to get that revival through as well. But has he got enough coins? And that's going to be a question which is going to be answered soon.
Mafia, what are you doing here? Mafia is just looking at the merchandise. How many players? What's going on? And he's still outside the zone. He doesn't care about what's going to happen to him, but he loves to get that additional bit of information just to set the fielding right. But Mafia, soon he's going to be the one who will be chased down to get that 1 point. But look at the cocoon. Oh boy. Love the way Mafia is just fortifying himself. But that fortification is not going to be there for a longer time as he falls down, takes a bow against Assassin and the others. They have arrived. At least a knock or 2 would be really good. But unfortunately, it was a 1v2 situation. Mercy, Yash, both of them just reaching very close. And Shanky, as I can see, thought that the grappling hook would be really good as an opportunity. But no, it wasn't, as Yash, the moment he sees it, instantly shuts down Aztec. Good position, but there are already 2 men shot.
Total Gaming need to be careful. This is one of their strongest forte. Kalahari, Shanky, and Aztec. Aztec is like, you know what? I'm going to fall back. Try to take down one player at a time, Shanky. You try to hold off the opponents and make sure that you have information. And that's exactly why he goes on top of the building. Yash is right in front of him, but doesn't give him space to enter into that vicinity. Now Shanky knows the opponents. He's waiting for Yash to come in. Tries to connect some shots, but misses a lot. Whereas on the other side, he gets taken down. Not the kind of game which Total Gaming were looking out for. The last man standing, Aztec. Now he's going to be hunted. Needs to be careful. Yash gets in closer with that shotgun. Aztec gets taken down by Mercy. He gets finished off as well. Is this the end for side of Total Gaming? I guess not, because ultimately, they had 2 revivals coming through.
That's true. Mafia. Now he's gonna run away. Instant retreat button. And Master is right underneath. He's been taken down. And it is Mafia taking a shot with a Kar 98. Oh God. What am I looking at? Instantly deploys the shield, the time turner.
No.
And it's gonna keep him safe for a longer time.
Look at what Delete does. He knows that Mafia needs to survive. Mafia needs to heal. So he tries to take tension away. But Yash is kind of smart. Gets in closer, sees Mafia at a distance. Doesn't allow him to go in for that revival. But guess what? The deed is already done. As Delete comes in from the other side. And he's waiting. Yash has got 4 eliminations already. Delete gets in closer. He also gets taken down and finished off. Assassin Army finally showing their true colors. 13 eliminations so far. And I do believe that if they're able to hold on to their horses, they might soar high in getting that booyah.
Assassins, my god, this is the 13 that they've received in this following game. So far, they did not have any luck, and now finally things are just working out. And Script just making his own scripts. Team TAMILAS, they are waking up as well, getting those elimination points. They know how thin the entire team of iQOO Total Gaming has spread all across, and that's just helping them out. Even those odds, Yogesh now just running in, trying to head towards a circle, and that's like the best decision that they can take right now.
Absolutely, and the circle plays a different game altogether. A new tale unfolds, ladies and gentlemen. EMZ towards that council hall is going to be rewarded with the maximum view of this vicinity. ABZ as well, they've got a good control inside the circle. SES, they've got a bit of a hard compound to work with. And slowly and steadily, I'm able to see that Total Gaming is getting picked off. Delete. I think the Binoculars has given off his location, and Team TAMILAS, they would want to step in that vicinity. There's a vending machine out there, but I hope that he's got enough coins to revive his teammates.
Sure thing. And look at the late rotation being called in TW. They're taking their sweet time, entering all the way from the northwestern side towards the circle, but they need to do it really quick, man. The time is gonna fly by. It's not gonna wait for anyone. And that's where I think that the team needs to start addressing to the concerns. Binoculars, just to get additional bit of information towards a rotation game, the end plan of where the teams are going to head towards, and iQOO are right in front. They would love to go ahead and at least initiate things right there, but 12th elimination is what iQOO Total Gaming has received. Ouch. There goes my prediction.
95 points in total is what they had, by the end of this game. If they had 5 more eliminations, they would already hit the 100-pointer. That's in 5 maps, my friend. Let that sink in. 20-point average in every single map is no joke, especially in a lobby so strong. Whereas on the other side, we're able to see that everyone else wants to play it safe. They're just waiting for the final circle to come in and hope that Lady Luck is kissing their forehead.
Mehtab. Couple of far range shots, just to at least make the opponents feel that we are here, make them get to know about what's happening next. And the way they've already been marked, I just feel that this is going to be a raise in concern. Skull Esports. How well can you go ahead and tackle this situation now?
It's no joke. Assassin Army, they were having such a good run, and now all of a sudden we are able to see that Team TAMILAS are hunting them one after another. Just the last man standing, trying to run away from every single player out there. Konshu gets taken down, but is that enough for Team TAMILAS to hold on to their horses? Because I see Yogesh is still trying to do his best, but eventually Yogesh gets taken down. And the confirmation as well is going to be coming through. What has happened to Yash? Assassin Army, no, he's not going to be breathing anymore, and they get eliminated from this lobby.
That's all right. Assassin's Army, they've already done a lot of heavy lifting, 13 eliminations, but they could have done more. Position advantage could have been the second spot, but unfortunately, they could not do that. Arise on the very end. They have been very consistent, 4 eliminations so far, but 85 total points. You can imagine the kind of 100% efforts they have put in towards the previous games. But this is the place where all of the teams, they're going to be planning towards entering the circle. And that's where the no-no zone comes into the picture. Mad God constantly keeping tabs on where the opponents are and raining those bullets, at least getting a knock or two, and sometimes a confirmation as well.
FX Elite using binoculars yet again. They know how many players are there in front of them, but lands one, strikes fears in the hearts of the opponent, and slowly is getting closer. Needs to be careful because You've
Watch
already
your
done
back.
the deed, my friend. Everybody knows that you're trying to get into the circle, and now they'll have to come up with a new strategy altogether. Atomic on the other side gets wiped off, and look at the damage which is going to be dealt against them. FX, deep troubles. It seems like they're tasting their own medicine all of a sudden.
Ah, that's right. But still, look at the way they're still alive, man. This is insane. Artificial cover. I do understand that they have a monster truck right in front, but Sham OP can destroy all the dreams of this team. All he needs to do is pick a spot, get some shots on, and that's what he's doing. Sham OP constantly raiding those bullets of the arm, and it's just working out. Arijit, he falls away, and confirmations are coming through, and there's a stolen. That elimination just got stolen. Wow.
Oh. With the blink of an eye, another team gets eliminated. Now Team TAMILAS, they're trying to play it safe. They're on the top of the building, only 2 players. The footsteps obviously is going to be given away. But Yogesh, let's not forget that this man has got a lot of tricks up his sleeve. All they have to do, but the plushie, it comes at the right time, gives away their location. A good grenade can actually do the deed. Team TAMILAS, they need to wake up right now. 1 good grenade down, and 2 players might get taken out.
Oh, that's not going to be the case though. Kaushik alongside Yogesh, both of them just banding together. 14 total eliminations. Team TAMILAS, they're preparing for the end game. Nades are coming through. Anbu Jr., I can see him pop off. And it's against a team that has been so good, consistent when it comes to getting the 2nd position. But Team TAMILAS, they have been eliminated, could not do much there. As Kaksham, he's right in front of Prodigy. And Prodigy, even though he's squished in that area, he's going to be the first one who's been said goodbye. Beast, what are you doing? Check your corners as Saksham is still alive and kicking. How is this even happening? Mehta finally understands that. But before he could do anything, 1 player has already been knocked. Instant revival, that's amazing. But it's a 3v4 situation. What do you think, Arka, is going to happen here?
Oh, I somewhere feel that our bots have still got it up their sleeve. All they have to do is, trust their instincts.
Oh, nice. This is
Look
done
at what
for.
Sham is doing. He's trying to hold off from a distance. He's
1v2.
trying to give information. Bits gets taken down. It's going to be Dhruv and Mehta, the 2 men standing, and suddenly they regroup. Sham comes in closer. He knows that it's important for him to land one more. He does it perfectly. Mehta, the last man standing. Great as well.
1v1.
Very low on HP. Tries to revive himself, tries to heal himself, comes in from the other side altogether. Mehta knows the location. They come in closer. The shotgun versus the VSS. Which among these are going to do well? Raithi sees that player lost wall. The game is going on. And eventually it's going to be AUTOBOTZ landing that final shot. An amazing Booyah walks in their flavor. Oh my goodness, that was a good game coming in from their side. I was expecting this from the side of AUTOBOTZ. A 3v4 pulled off in that final circle. AUTOBOTZ, amazing game coming in from their side.
Indeed, man. Flavor of the month. M590. This weapon has been the clutch situation. Every single time you see it, an opponent having an M590, he is bound to win that fight. And that's where I could see this man just constantly pummeling the opponent.
Absolutely. I just want you guys to watch the last part of this game, right? Raithi, he does take that damage at the final shot, and then he lands one. He's like, you know what? I need to place my crosshairs perfectly. And that's how you need to play this. I don't know how come they were able to survive for so long with Sham at a distance, not even indulging in any kind of a fight, but there were glimpses of some exceptional gameplay coming in from their side. Dhruv and Mehta, it was a double-edged sword. They were getting damaged by the zone as well, and this is where Sham lands that perfectly. And after this, Raithi, look at that. He gets damaged, jumps, and then strikes one perfectly.
Instant 360, man. AUTOBOTZ, well, 18 total eliminations, 12 placement points, total of 30. Well, in the first few games, it was looking like we could not see any 30 bombers coming in, and now it's like a regular task, 30 bombers coming through. Team TAMILAS, good efforts, man. Overall, 14 eliminations, 6 placement points. That's where they were just shy with those points. TOTAL Esports, nice initiatives coming all across. The Knight surviving at that position was insane, and Saksham just made it possible for the team. FX Elite, all thanks to the rotation wise, they were like could not do much in those corners, but other than that, that was a very good game coming from their end.
Yeah, Team TAMILAS, kind of impressed with them as well. I know that they had 14 eliminations by the end of that game, and that's why, they tried to survive. They're like, you know what, we have got enough eliminations. Let's try and see for how long we can hold on to our horses. But nonetheless, we saw one team which was going all out, and TW-ESPORTS, they're just so close to get that booyah, and they fall short because they did not prioritize the center of the circle.
Yeah, it happens. It happens. And alongside the nervous 99s as well, you imagine one hand there's VSK,
True.
the other hand there's M590. Close quarter battles, always a shotgun will hit every single corner. And yeah, that's how most of the players folded. But Shyam OP, he made the opponents fold a lot. AWM in hand, he shut down the entire fate of FX Esports. And yes, this dude has a lot of skill up his sleeves. Nero, Suzy, of course, being a bit hungry towards getting those Free Fire max points and those coins. That's really good. A token of favor being brought in. Moko just to get the additional bit of information on where the opponent is going to head. Few seconds of ping, and Maro long range shots are going to be insane. And that's how this guy just obliterated his opponents.
I just love that final shot which he landed. He's like, you know what? Between these two glue walls, I can see a player. Let me just deal with this one man. The rest will be taken care. And every single player contributed so well in that final fight. And that's why I love AUTOBOTZ to their core. Wraithy, with being the grenadier, we saw how well he was able to, in those final moments, land shots. Let's not forget that Halim as well. What a start that was, using that Oscar here and there, making sure he holds on to the opponents, restricts them from getting into the center of the circle. I believe that was the key for their success.
Pushing them away has been insane. And yeah, I do understand that Aleem has done a lot of heavy lifting, but Zayn being equipped by Wraithy, this is insane. After the buff that Zayn has already received, she has been the paradise of all the rushers, but it's in the hands of a grenadier, so that's even more better. He can control his aggression and at the same time provide support. So kudos, man, Wraithy, kudos.
Absolutely. Let's look at the stats and try to understand what the standings look like for these four players. 6 eliminations coming in from the side of Sham, being that sniper. I remember at the beginning of this map, Ozora, you told that this is a paradise for the snipers, and I believe that Sham has proved it true again.
True that. Anbu Jr., good plays, damage of 911 points, 3 eliminations, 2 knocks, and well, Wraithy, 6 eliminations, 6 knocks, and on the other end, we could see Aleem as well, chiming in, trying to provide the support alongside Russian, get those eliminations, or even make the opponents weak. So, good amount of tries, and finally I can see this team flourishing. All this time, they were trying to find out what's going wrong, and once they found out what was wrong, they have fixed it instantly. The team play.
Absolutely. I mean, I can see an average of 2,000 damage from 2 players, whereas Shaman got the maximum. Shows that how serious this team was in this specific map. And I believe that, they would want to continue this momentum. It's so hard for you to get at the middle of the day. But yes, taking this forward is going to be the primary objective.
Exactly. And the momentum game needs to always keep moving forward, Arka. Else you're going to be so stagnant that nobody can even move you. It's either you're going to die earlier on in the game itself, or you might push yourself through the boundaries and get those eliminations. And I'm just hoping that all of this time, like most of the places where teams were trying something different, some next level combinations, those who have already stuck to the grassroots or their normal or the defaults, they've been doing significantly better, is what I can say.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, we all know how teams have become serious from the last FFMIC, right? Because they all know what's coming up ahead. They're like, you know what, we're gonna be given opportunities, golden opportunities, to be in forefront of the country, and also make sure that you have an opportunity to get the biggest of that chunk when it comes to the prize pool as well. All of that set aside, there's going to be another story which is going to unfold in the map of Alpine, the final map of the day, and these are the drop spots for all the teams for one last time in the day.
Snowfall with so many people there, okay, that's something very hard to digest. Garrison still can be one of the places where teams can head towards, but I'm expecting some early skirmish in this one as well. Fusion completely left empty. Blue Village is one of the places where iQOO will be seen. Skull Esports, they're heading all the way towards Ocean View, so cinematic drifts, drive-bys, and then they will head all the way towards the fight. That might take a lot of position or disadvantage for them. So I would say that early rotation is the key in this map, and once you head towards the following locations, you can get those elimination points, as most of the teams, they will still be searching for where the center of the ring will be. So yeah, that's one thing.
Somewhere, as you broke down the complete map perfectly, I somewhere felt like there are going to be several teams who are going to go all out because they are at the bottom of the table.
Sure.
They've got nothing to lose, and they'll be like, you know what, it's time to make sure that we ruin other people's game. And one amongst those names are going to be in my prediction. We both have thought that TW-ESPORTS is going to do well. You bring in Total Gaming yet again after that, kind of a disappointing performance in the map of Kalahari. What are your thoughts on this?
There's one thing, Arka, about iQOO Total Gaming. If they have messed one map, it's all right. They're going to bounce back even more better in the next following one.
Yeah.
And trust me, I gave these predictions, or I gave these names even before we could even enter towards a prediction game of it. So the moment I got the entire Excel sheet, I'm like, you know what, these are the teams who are going to play so well. And I know for a fact, because most of them, like, the names are so familiar now, all thanks to the performance in Free Fire Max India Cup 2025, alongside in the previous one as well, Asia Invitationals. Even though the rosters have been shuffled, the players have been shuffled from one corner to the other, their gameplay is still the same. Their mindset, their approach towards the map is still the same. And that's where I feel I bank upon their, brain game more.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, with those predictions out of the picture, who do you think is going to be on the top of the table by the end of the day? I know what name you're going to take right now because it was one of your predictions. But do you think there's a chance for Rise Esports somewhere in between all of this fray? Because they've shown some exceptional performance so far. And if they're able to replicate another 30-pointer, I believe that they'll be on the top of the table.
They're already there, Arka. They're already there. All they have to do is refine their fights. That's it, man. And they might even topple iQOO Total Gaming is what I can say. But here's the thing, right? I'm going to say it in Hindi. TG mange kya? Booyah, booyah, booyah. And that's the kind of focus that all of these players have in the mind as well.
Yeah, absolutely. But ladies and gentlemen, the last map of the day, the map in which each and every team would want to make sure that they are in the top 9. And I strongly believe that after this, we can expect some really good teams to go forward.
Exactly.
Yes, there are teams like Atomic, Emz, and TW-ESPORTS at the very bottom. And what kind of shenanigans can they bring in this map? I'm waiting to watch.
Oh, look at those Free Fire coins being distributed mid-air. But all right, FX, we are here for this battle against Atomic. Volt right in front, and I hope that this dude is going to land all of his shots. Weapon upgrades for sure. I can see it in the hands of FX, but they need to make it count. Dinocle is being utilized just to get the information, and Volt, he's the first one to fall. Eliminated as I'm taking his name. One by one, Atomic, they're just falling down like flies, and this is the last man who just thought that he could do something better, and the one person has already escaped from this vicinity, and that's a very smart choice. Mota Bacha, run away.
Mota Bacha needs to be careful, because I somewhere feel there's going to be another team not far away who would want to come in and make sure that they have a piece of this pie. FX, they welcomed those 3 eliminations with open arms. They were like, you know what? Don't you dare come and test us in our drop location. Because we have been doing well throughout the day. And this is just going to boost our confidence.
Either you push people or you get pushed. And Atomic, they've been pushed so far down the envelope that they do not know how to go ahead and capitalize things anymore. But Team TAMILAS, they are capitalizing on all of those fights that they could see. 2 eliminations right off the bat. That's amazing. Even though I thought for a fact that it's going to be a very nice skirmish coming in, but no. Says TW, they're like, you know what? We're going to take our paces down. It's all right. Nothing's going to happen that bad. And EMZ, they are constantly just dropping down regardless of what the situation is going on.
Yep, I did see Assassin Army put one of the players down, and all of a sudden I see FX are also in the fray. And that means they're, spread wide across the map, and due to which they're going to be facing a very, very ruthless assault over themselves. FX Elite on the other side, immediately going in for a revival and making sure, they have all foemen standing. The circle is not far away, right? And what they're going to do is just watch out for those opponents out there. Aditya shooting at his opponents is kind of digging his own grave, because that's just going to give away his location, which is kind of bad looking at how FX have recovered from that fight.
EMZ, well, they're looking for some additional bit of elimination points, which is right in front of them. But it's going to be a bit hard for them to at least receive this one part. Rupesh, he should have understood better, man. Couple of players that were already hunting down where that one specific spot can be to res the teammate, and that's where he falls flat. EMZ, 4 eliminations. I like how every single one of them is contributing. Mac, Emrani, Rupesh, Aditya, all 4 of them just giving the 100% in order to get at least something from this map. But it is going to be against FX. And if FX has already thought that they want to contest this entire area, then it is going to be theirs. All thanks to the kind of performance they've been putting so far.
I guess the objective was to collect some coins and fall back. As Arjit comes in a vehicle from a distance, we're able to see that EMZ is slowly converging from all different directions. Once you look at the mini map, you'll be able to understand that FX Elite at this point of time might be in deep troubles. Avjit gets taken down. The confirmation follows up so quickly that with a blink of an eye, we don't see any of the FX players in the map. Yes, they get revived immediately at a distance, but they've already given away a lot of points.
Oh, that's true. Vishal, Team IQ, they are plotting something very devious against Team TAMILAS, and this might be it. This might be the last straw through which they can at least sip some very nice continental drink. But it's not going to happen, as Vishal, he's the last man standing. He's still surviving by the skin of his teeth, but I don't think so. He's armed all the way towards that frying pan being tossed all across. And there you go, the knuckle cluster being fed. Team TAMILAS, instant revival, but they're going to be on hot pursuit in order to get this 1 point lying right across.
Absolutely, but look at how one solo player was able to hold off that team, and eventually they find him by that window, put an end to him as well. Team TAMILAS going to be pretty happy with the performance so far. 7 eliminations. But one thing which I love about this team, my friend, is that it's a puzzle which has come out at the last time. AUTOBOTZ, Team TAMILAS, and you had one from Godlike. All of these individual players coming together, form a team, dominate in the city qualifiers, approach Wadi of Team TAMILAS and tell them that probably you can hire us, and everything falls in place for them so far.
Exactly. And look at that vault. It's already open, weapons all across. You can at least get Groza, Chip X, or you can get even a Thompson, which is beneficial again. Fire rate increased. The kind of shots you can land on the opponents, that's massive. So, yeah, that's a good upgrade. And with this upgrade, I would love to see EMZ capitalizing on it as well. They're on a very good spot. They can see where the opponents are rushing towards or reaching in the further parts of the circle. And iQOO Total Gaming has been completely silent. Just 1 elimination. And look at them. They're still towards Forest Red. What's going on?
I guess they want a Booyah real bad. They've not had one throughout the day. Let me remind you that. So they're like, you know what? In this one, we need to end this on a good note. Let me remind the audience, they were having the highest number of Booyahs in the finale, which they played the last time on a LAN. Dominated that LAN completely. And now the question arises, are you guys capable of getting at least 1 in your name?
Ooh.
Whereas Team TAMILAS on the other side, they still love mowing the lawn.
They're just on a hot pursuit. What's going on? Like, did they wake up on the wrong side of the bed? Or it might be the same logic that you gave, Arka, which is last game, give it your 100%, spoil others' games, spoil others' opportunities of getting eliminations, and that's where Team TAMILAS, they're just chiming in so perfectly.
Absolutely. Motabacha, the flag bearer for the team AE in the previous game, tried to survive, but was ruthlessly taken down. But this time around, it seems like he's trying to do his best. Cover fire coming in from a distance, but Aditya behind those glue walls, which is eventually going to melt down.
Oh, wow.
Beto still trying to do their best. And look at how well AE is playing this. Both these teams do not want to engage with as a single pack, but Imrani, he does that mistake and he's going to be paying a very hefty price.
Oh, they need to contribute. No. They need to get those shots. AUTOBOTZ, last man standing. This has been a treat to the eye. Left, right. Doesn't matter where the flank is coming from. AUTOBOTZ, he's been hunted down. Constantly shots fired. He's completely bleeding. And now he falls down. Finally, it took an entire village to take him down, but finally they did it. Look at the enhanced hammer being pummeled on AWM. Already that weapon is overpowered, and now you're pummeling on it an enhanced hammer, increasing the damage as well. And this just makes the entire player bamboozle on what just hit him.
I just love this. You know, enhanced hammer coming into this game has made things so much more better. It's like that final pinch of salt which is required for your dish, which makes it so much more tastier. It's something like that. But EMZ,
I can relate.
They find their next prey, and guess what? They are in pursuit, and this time it's the deadly FX. Can they get it? Cyber gets taken down. And Arijit is running for his life for now. Imrani, he's gonna get taken down, gets eliminated, and that's a wake-up call for the side of EMZ.
Oh my god, you cannot stand against an MP5, which is level 3 already. The fire rate is maximum, and you just stand right in front. 10 bullets, shots so quickly, and you're gonna be down on your knees. And Rupesh is just using that to perfection, man. I love to see this kind of a rush gameplay. Specifically when you're already heading towards the vaults and getting all the weapons like checked, remedied, and moving forward towards the fights.
You know, I somewhere feel EMZ need to calm down now. They've got 16 eliminations. They need to prioritize
I feel
the circle.
otherwise.
You know, they need that booyah, man, obviously. Because they're not the team which is on top of the table. They're at the very bottom. With just 16 points, I don't think so they can make it into the top 9. For which they'll have to, you know, kind of be a little bit safe. But for now, the priority is to save their teammates, and they find a vending machine close by.
Groza. There's a lot of things that I can see in the arsenal of EMZ, and I don't think so they're gonna stop after having such good weapons. And I completely understand the part that getting a booyah is important.
Primary objective.
But imagine the primary objective, but imagine you get all the points in the eliminations part itself, and then like slowly prioritizing the circle. So that's gonna give you a lot of room to spoil other people's game as well. But talking about the circle, well, we can see it's right beside Ocean View. And I guess it was team the Knights who did not move an inch from there. And if they did not, then they took a really good call.
Oh, I love this placement from Total Gaming. They did not get to the center of the circle. They just waited for somebody to fly into the center, clear their backlines, and then they'll try to dominate that higher region of the western side of this map. Assassin Army prioritizing the circle is now trying to pepper down the side of FX as Team TAMILAS. They might be the latecomers to this lobby. They might be the latecomers to the circle, due to which they might be strongly gate-kept. Binoculars being used from their side. They see a player close by, but will they engage?
Oh no. They already know it's going to be a high alert situation here. So rather not engage in all of those duels, as there can be a third party waiting in those bushes, under those rocks. And you never know, you might find even Patrick. So Avijit, so far, good covers being provided. FX Elite playing very well. And at the same time, they're keeping tabs on Team TAMILAS as well. But Team TAMILAS, oh boy, good shots, FX. One player has already been knocked, but instant revival will be given.
The calm before the storm. EMZ flying in, have no idea that they're just walking into the jaws of death. Total Gaming, they were hungry for some eliminations, and they come in over here. Shaggy gets taken down, but EMZ all of a sudden, what?
Oh!
What is this all about? All of a sudden, I see the Total Gaming is getting decimated. Aztec immediately revived. Delete is like, you know what? I need to get in closer. But on the other side, Aztec says, run away. And that is what he tries to do. But he gets shot out at a distance. Back puts him down. Aditya on the other side needs to get survived. But Total Gaming, the start they wanted, it seems like the end is going to be more bitter.
Extremely bitter, and they have to swallow this one. This pill is going to be very problematic. Mafia, last man standing, shoots the drone as it's providing information, it's providing intel. But he just wants to get back at EMZ. The way they have just flushed them all out from that particular spot, it's one site which they did not want to look at again. Mafia, he has made a cocoon, but those melters are not going to help a lot for him to survive in this area. He enters towards the shack, but the shack is so fragile that he's going to fall down quickly as he just could not do much there.
EMZ, 20 eliminations so far. The team at the very bottom of the table shows us that once we go lose,
21,
make sure that we're going to maul everybody down.
Oh, the confidence on these lads. EMZ. This is the all-time high that we can say right now. And they need to just keep similar kind of a pace. Because the opponents, they're still finding a way to reach close towards this one team. And EMZ, they have just made every single thing so tough for the opponents. And nobody can touch them right now.
Now look at the point standings. As of now, I can see EMZ, the very bottom of the table. FX, who are in the middle fray. I see SES, who are kind of at the 8th position. And we've got Assassin Army barely at the 9th position. All these teams who need to survive and put up points, everybody are still alive. Yash, he wants to start picking up some frags as well. He's trying to do his best because on the other side, it's got to be FX. We've already got 2 Booyah so far, and they want to end the note on a very, very high possibility.
FX, they need to move inside the circle, and look at the way Assassin Army, they're just gatekeeping them constantly. Shots fired. Even though FX, they have like a man-count disadvantage, that's one thing I don't think so Assassin Army knows right about now. And if they do, good for them. But those shots, so far it's not meaning anything. They need to divide the attention and understand what's happening towards the other end. And it is EMZ, just constantly being a big hurdle for all of the team.
I don't think so. It's going to be easy for the side of Assassin Army to now make it inside the circle. Because they'll have to have this conflict with EMZ, who are looking unstoppable so far. Blue Wall Melter has been tossed in against them. Mercy, he's got to be leading this fight.
Big mistake.
He's got the Trogan. Probably could go in his favor if he can land a grenade. Yash gets in closer with that shotgun. EMZ needs to realize that there's going to be somebody knocking at the doorstep. Man gets taken down. Imran needs to retaliate. ETA gets taken down as well.
What?
And all of a sudden, Assassin Army, they get decimated. Oh my goodness. This is why I say my enemy's enemy is my friend. SES, they come in amidst all of it. Toss a bit of grenades here and there. Pick off every single player from the side of Assassin Army. But EMZ, they still survive with last man standing. And before I could complete my sentence, end up at the 3rd position with so many eliminations in their favor.
Oh boy, look at the way TOTAL Esports, they're just charging forward. This is the last moment of the glory that they want to snatch it away from FX. They're like, it's about time. You already received 2 Booyahs. This is ours. Give it to us. And the best is just rushing forward in order to go ahead and grab that. And that's the Booyah that they were looking for so long. TOTAL Esports, they finally nailed this one. And they've nailed it so well.
Exceptional gameplay coming in from the side of TOTAL Esports, if you ask me. As I said, I would have loved to see EMZ play a similar game amidst all those fights, but Skull was like, you know what, let's wait it out. We've got a bit of a high ground to work out with, and once we understand that the opponents are eventually going to fight with one another, that is when we pounce in, when we pick up frags. And slowly and steadily, we're going to be witnessing that on our screens right now, Zora.
Yeah. I mean, these are the last few moments where EMZ, they outperformed every single team out there. But Assassin Army, well, they were very sneaky. Like their name, an absolute assassin, shattered the hopes of EMZ to even get this booyah. They could have ended on a very high note, but unfortunately it did not happen. Skull Esports, these lads, till the very end, stuck by towards the high ground, and then Raichu just could not do much there.
I'm scared now for the overall standing. EMZ 31 pointer. 31 pointer, but have they done enough to be in the top 9? Skull on the other side walks away with the booyah. They had decent amount of points. They were at the 8th position. I think they're kind of safe. Right above them was FX Elite, right? They'd got 64. I feel they've also done decent job. Team TAMILAS have done well. Assassin Army at the 9th position have done decently well. Total Gaming, kind of disappointing. But yes, the flag so high for now. A rise. Not the kind of performance they had, they wanted to showcase at the end of the day. But AUTOBOTZ, iQOO, IQ, TW-ESPORTS, the Knights and Atomic. Have these teams done enough to be in the top 9?
I don't know whether they have done something better or bad. But yeah, the numbers, they're looking very weak, man. Single digits right after iQOO Total Gaming. It's just single digits all across. And that's no way to enter towards any particular spot. But Arise, they've already done the heavy lifting since game 1. So I'm not going to be having any two thoughts about them. But IQESPORTS, TW, the Knights, these are the ones that I'm very concerned about. Well, talking about the MVP, it's going to be Mehtab. He has been trying so hard. Being the sniper, damage of over 3,700 is massive. Dude was keeping his presence everywhere. Keeping tabs on the opponents, giving the rushers the locations of where the opponents are. Suzy, Maro, Moko being his passive abilities, and Nero, the plushie, just giving the additional bit of information to the rushers to do the deed.
The tactical market as well, let's not forget, he bought the Thunder when required to make sure that the opponents go weak. I just love this, they're bringing in this tactical market, enhanced hammer. As I said, it's just final ingredient to make everything much more interesting. But yes, I would love to see the team stats to understand what kind of a support he received from his teammates and what kind of agents did they use, because ultimately it's still a learning course for all those viewers who are watching back home.
But the best part here is that day number 2, Group B is going to have an even better ball, as they have already seen all of these loadouts for most of the people. So this is just amazing, like the others, how much of a homework that they can do in the upcoming games. But yeah, moving forward towards the other players, the best, well, we can see Zayn. Of course, this dude has been running all across. Thiva, whenever a player fell down, knocked, was crying for some help, he was the first person to be on the spot and provide that support. Nikita Joseph being one of the best passives that you can ever equip, judging by the way he needed a lot of firepower. Dhruv, well, enhanced hammer, he did help a lot technically, as you can see, being the bombarder that he is. Beast on being equipped, and A124 just to disable most of the things that's happening right in front of him is just amazing. Prime and Mehtab, we've already seen the kind of deeds that they have done as well, but the damage part of it is massive from Mehtab. This showcases that they had a very decent game, and Mehtab did the heavy lifting most of the time.
Absolutely. Mehtab living up to his name. I think he had that responsibility today. He had told his team that, let me lead this fight. Probably I'll be able to get that booyah which the team craves for. Yes, Dhruv on the other side has got some decent amount of damage. Prime as well, and let's not forget the beast, right? The best, right? At one point of time, he was always doing the heavy lifting, but also was one of the reasons for that final elimination to go in his favor.
So I'm glad that finally the team woke up, and I do understand that this might help them in changing whatever has happened before. So I'm expecting that there's going to be a lot of change moving forward. And who has qualified, who hasn't? If you guys want to take a guess, then you guys can go ahead and take it. But this is today's standings. These are the 9 teams and sports. Oh my god! They made it! They made the cutoff.
Oh my goodness, Emz Esports. They're going to be so proud of their final game, an exceptional one. They gave it their all and they qualify into the top 9. But Assassin Army, they're going to be so disappointed. They tried so much but still fell short. The amount of... I'm unable to complete my sentences over here. Let's not forget Skull.
5 point
when they've
shot.
done a decent job. IQESPORTS have done a decent job. The point difference between the top team and the 9th position is hardly 40 points. And that shows
Yeah.
how tight this group was.
Indeed, man. A lot of competitions. Team TAMILAS, at one point of time, it did not look like they were performing that well, but look at the way. 86 points. FX Elite, they themselves have tied this spot, but of course, it's going to go all the way towards the Booyah first and then towards eliminations, and Booyah is higher in the pockets of FX Elite. So good plays. I love the way the competition was slowly brewing up, and at one point of time it was EMZ just dominating the last map, which is Alpine. And that's such a versatile map. That's one of the places where most of the teams hold their punches back. They're very reserved towards how to go ahead and aggress towards a team because they themselves have a lot of strategies going on in their head. But EMZ, they just broke open all the walls like it was a door.
I mean, I'm shocked right now. I'm out of words as well. But at the same time, I did ask you a question. Can a rise to the occasion, beat Total Gaming? It seems like they fell short with 2 points. If they haven't tied it, probably, because of the tiebreaker and they had a Booyah, they would have ended on the top of the table.
Exactly. But it's all right. It is what it is. 1 or 3 points. They should be very happy. The kind of performance that they've showcased. Well, such good competitions, man. So many underdog teams, and they have made themselves proud, man. It's all right that you were at the bottom 3. It's okay. There's going to be a lot of upcoming tournaments where you can go ahead and participate. And this is the kind of a token, right, Arka? The token of experience that you get. And from here on, you refine on what mistakes that you've already made. These VODs are already going to be posted on YouTube, and from there you can look how well you can go ahead and change your tactics, understand how the opponents are playing. And that's the silver lining that they could see, or that they can see in the upcoming times.
Absolutely. As you said, all strategies are like an open book now. Everybody can read it. The one who does the homework the best is going to be rewarded in the upcoming games, because after this, it's just going to be, a fight to the finish. Most of these teams out there, they might qualify into the next round, but the fire is just going to get hotter.
Indeed. I mean, it just comes down to the grand scheme of it that you're going to be forged in fire at one point of time. So for that, you need to keep yourself moving, keep yourself motivated, keep playing, keep the grind, and understand the kind of metas that you can inculcate in the upcoming games. And I'm just excited, man. I do understand there's a character called Moss into the picture already. It's been like a month that the update has already come towards the game, but people have very less chosen that character. You can either use it as a flank, or either you can use it as a very nice way to go ahead and dissect the opponents onto where exactly they are. So I haven't seen those individual brilliance just yet, but I believe that the upcoming days are going to give us a lot of glimpse of this character, man.
Absolutely. I'm just waiting for the next day to occur, because the next set of games is going to be so different, because we're going to have another group coming in. Probably your favorites are still out there who might make it through or not. Things are starting to look a topsy-turvy for those who still try to do their best. So let's see which among these teams are going to qualify tomorrow.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's it from us today. It has been a pleasure. Group A, good performance all across, but similar kind of performance will be there tomorrow as well. So make sure you're going to be here at the right time, right place. And until then, keep the grind on, and we're going to see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
it booming. Stats going up, we all going dumb, not stupid. Trying to keep up with me, I told them all that it's foolish. I heard this song and I turn it right down, it's muted. I had to do it myself, damn, now it's all booming. Said it's impossible, I had to go out and do it. It's getting hot, yeah, now it's humid. Feeling like Floyd, I'm 50 and no can't dispute it. I had to do it myself, damn, now it's all booming. Told them get out of the kitchen, I'm chefing it now. They try to start with me, dog, while I'm ending it now. They used to laugh at me, dog, who is laughing right now? I got M's in the bank, I got M's in these streams, so they text on my phone and they begging me now. I don't got time for it now. Feeling like Steph when I ball. They try to get to me now. I cannot let them at all. I ain't wearing nothing on the wrist. That's just how I started, I can switch. I just told myself that's how it is. I just pulled a clutch and I can miss. Trying to tell me everything I know. If they get a shot, they bout to choke. I was looking at them from the back. Now I'm looking back and they ain't close. I got it booming. Stats going up, we all going dumb, not stupid. Trying to keep up with me, I told them all that it's foolish. I heard this song and I turn it right down, it's muted. I had to do it myself, damn, now it's all booming. Said it's impossible, I had to go out and do it. It's getting hot, yeah, now it's humid. Feeling like Floyd, I'm 50 and no can't dispute it. I had to do it myself, damn. I got it booming. Stats going up, we all going dumb, not stupid. Trying to keep up with me, I told them all that it's foolish. I heard this song and I turn it right down, it's muted. I had to do it myself, damn, now it's all booming.
You can't manage this, can't break this, boy, I'm funded. Gotta keep my distance when you not 100, From the same ones say they love you, they funny, You can't match my energy, and yeah, you know it, Way too cold, yeah, man, I'm way too cold, Way too cold, yeah, man, I'm way too cold, Way too cold, yeah, man, I'm way too cold, Yes, I'm minted, yeah, man, I'm way too cold, Hey, I'm a problem when I'm on top like this my designer flow, Hey, gotta keep my fur coat close, cause I'm a boss and I'm way too cold, I don't really wanna come ask me why I gotta act like this. Tell them that my pockets too swollen, they already know I'm a flex with a bag like this. Like, I'm at the top and that's literal. I'm making money, it's digital. They watch how I step in this pivotal. They wanna be me and it's pitiful. I cannot be no one else and I'm flexing, I'm glad to be me. There's no angle they can come for me, boy, I'm 0 degrees. Way too cold. You can't manage this, can't break this, boy, I'm funded. Gotta keep my distance when you not 100, Don't the same ones say they love you, they funny, You can't match my energy, and yeah, you know it, Way too cold, yeah, man, I'm way too cold, Way too cold, yeah, man, I'm way too cold, Way too cold, yeah, man, I'm way too cold, Yes, I'm minted, yeah, man, I'm way too cold, Yeah, I'm killing it, I'm the realest. Ain't gotta say, gotta know you feel it. My flow got a code, sick as the illest. I know that I'm great and they about to witness me going in. I went way up, about to go again. You see me on the telly, then you tell a friend. Cause you know I'm about to rain, it'll never end. Cause I got big dreams, big goals, never settle, gotta keep on going now. You say you got it, and I'm Red Bull, I got the wings and I ain't coming down. No. I keep it straight, every line is so intentional. This is your moment to let it go. You know that I'm into, I'm way too cold. Too cold. You can't manage this, can't break this, boy, I'm funded. Gotta keep my distance when you not 100, Don't the same ones say they love you, they funny, You can't match my energy, and yeah, you know it, Way too cold, yeah, man, I'm way too cold, Way too cold, yeah, man, I'm way too cold, Way too cold, yeah, man, I'm way too cold, Yes, I'm minted, yeah, man, I'm way too cold,
Get down in the car, one time give it all, bust it open hard, let me see you job. Get down in the car, one time give it all, bust it open hard, let me see you job. I fucked up this Russell, baby hustle, what the